got, they'll be waiting at the very top. Furia! It's time to show the true power of the Orange Lions, FW Esports!
Oh.
A mountain of trophies behind them, and tonight they want to add one more, Petrichor Rose! They're here to feast on victory itself. The beasts of TPP, they go pop!
The size 80 underscore said top tournament.
टॉप टूर्नामेंट मतलब टीपीपी टूर्नामेंट है.
The size 80 underscore said TPP.
हाँ हाँ यस फर्स्ट टीपीपी टूर्नामेंट.
Stream Elements said Stream Elements bot running. Learn how to customize the bot here. https://docs.streamelements.com.
2026 का टीपीपी टूर्नामेंट ही होगा, एफपीपी नहीं होगा.
The size 80 underscore said start.
स्टार्ट हो गया.
They kept pushing forward for an entire
The size 80
year,
underscore said why no
all for one
FPP.
goal. Places that
FPP
once
नहीं
felt
है
warm and safe,
next year से.
like spring, became fierce battlegrounds. Summer arrived with blazing gunfights that tested both mental and physical endurance. Autumn followed, filling every moment with unforgettable highlights.
The size 80 underscore said Q.
Glory for some,
पता नहीं ऐसे ही क्राफ्टन पबजी ने ऐसे ही
Andre
डिसीजन लिया.
Quitchison said M
a
Pani
new
Led
story
Haya.
begins. A
ఏం
major
పని లేదా
tournament.
లేదా బ్రో పని.
2025
అందుకే ఇది
PUBG
చేస్తున్నా.
Masters Invitational, Seoul, South Korea.
Oh, it's difficult. You've got a big logo behind me.
పని ఉంటే ఇలా ఎందుకుంటా బ్రో.
Hey guys, just got done with the opening ceremony, but we wanted to go ahead and run you through all the things that you need to know going into this event, because while it does have, I guess, some similarities whenever we're looking at some of the systems that we've seen in the past, there's also a couple of very interesting change-ups as we're going to be moving forward. So we're just going to jump right into this, look at the format, look at the setup, and get right into it. So right off the start, let's go ahead and dive into kind of how the points are going to be set up and how everything's going to function. Oh, actually, no. First things first, we've got ourselves a little bit of an interview
Decize80
that's gonna be
said I
set
am
up. We've
better
got
than
Mark
all in
Power sitting down with,
TPP,
I
so
believe,
let's make
Gunnar
India team.
from Falcons.
Forget about the format, guys. I pulled Gunner
मैं
in
तो
for
बोल
you.
रहा हूँ
It's Mark
कल
with Gunner. We're on the ground here. It's quite
TPP
noisy in the
खेलेंगे
background,
बोल
but
रहा हूँ
if
ना
you guys
मैं
have
तो
some questions for Gunner. So over to
Gunner,
you.
are you
पूरा
eating the microphone?
टूर्नामेंट्स भी
Yeah, why not? It's
I,
happened every day.
I just saw him chewing.
TPP में ही होगा अब से
Oh, I got some gum in. Sorry.
Ah, okay, cool. So I have an actual question that's sort of important.
PNC भी
PGC was crazy.
TPP में ही होगा
Very long event, very different vibe to
I
this
think
one.
so.
What have you guys done in the time off to sort of transition mentally to get ready for PMI?
Yeah, it was a short turnaround. Obviously, the PGC games ended. We hopped on a flight like.
Good answer.
They blacked out. It was so crazy.
I mean,
Tough travel.
Gunnar can sometimes be a little bit verbose, and I guess we decided to go family friendly. That's going to be the excuse that we popped away and went directly back to us here.
So their prep was they jumped directly on a plane.
Celebrate the
I
not
think
the
that though, the fact they blacked out is fascinating because I do think this is going to be a challenge for some of these teams, Matt. This idea of going from PGC, which is just intense, hyper-focused, to an event where it's like, it's still a big deal. There's a lot of money on the line, but they're streaming on different PCs. You can sort of watch it. It's got more of a fun, lighthearted vibe. And personally, I think it would be really challenging to go from the pressure of PGC to an event like this in such a short time and make those adjustments.
I think also knock on from that is you're going from Bangkok where it's like 30 degrees every single day, and currently in South Korea it's winter. All right, they had to provide them coats because like packing for all of that stuff, that's tough. So also being able to acclimatize quickly as well, I think that's going to be tough for some of these guys.
The only guys that got Balenciaga coats aren't there. So
true.
I feel a little bit of that jumped right into like 30 degrees over here. So here's our format. You can see up at the top of it, we've got $50,000 for the tournament champion, but every single match is going to be worth $1,000. For daily winner, also getting $5,000. Let's not also forget that there is $100.
But
It's going to be really interesting as we start stacking in with vibes and things like that. So it gives us a grand total of $200,000. But Colaris, the way that map selection works in this is really interesting.
Yeah, for sure. So anybody that wins a map, obviously, then they are going to be able to choose the next map with 5 games per day, right? What I find super interesting about this in particular is that there are some teams that are kind of embroiled in hot drops in like 3 of the 4 maps, right? So if you think about T1, who constantly has to go up against 4AM in Yasnaya, JDG and Chumacera, even Pero has like locked in Yulin on Ronda, right? So it makes me think, okay, a team like T1, if they get a win suddenly, they could just pivot to Tego, where they don't have a hot drop scenario. Likewise for JDG, where Fury is hot dropping them. They've got the T1 scenario on Miramar. They could just say, okay, well, we're going to be able to go to Rondo, where our drop spot's open. So I think there's some really cool dynamics that could occur here for these teams that are embroiled in some of this kind of stuff.
I totally agree. It's pretty interesting, especially whenever we think about what T1 could do, because there's a world where they might actually just want to go for hot drops. But whenever we look at this, we've got our... Yeah, I know. I would lean into the hot drops. It seemed to work out for them. Whenever we look through the point system, it's pretty similar to everything else that we've been playing through. Of course, you get 10 points for first. There's going to be a stacking move forward. But on this, we've also got our participating regions with Twisted Minds and Falcons being a little bit interesting there, Toffees.
Yeah, Twisted Minds and Falcons. Yeah, well, you know, as goes the org, so doth the players. And those are the teams that we have access to, which I'm pretty excited about. I think that we already got a chance to talk to Gunnar, really illuminating interview. But throughout this event, we get to talk to Twisted Minds as well, and some other teams. For me, I'm curious about this Molodoc situation, James. Setting example and putting Molodoc in could be actually really awesome or very confusing for the fans.
Hey, BB team was amazing when it came to their kind of campaign when it came to TPP in Europe. They won that 5 out of 6 day games. So we could see something happen from Molodoc. I'm curious to see how the flow of the lobby is going to be, though.
I mean, we even have anyone's legend that's have pretty much anybody on it, so the rosters are going to be very interesting on this. I believe that we do have Gunnar back, so let's see if we can bring Mark Power back in and get some of those insights, because I know, Toffees, you were kind of chomping on the bit to get some questions over to Gunnar.
Yeah, sorry guys, it's a bit windy here in Seoul. That's why we've got a bit disconnected, but we've got Gunnar back with me before he run away. Don't laugh at my jokes. But yeah, Gunnar, I'll be back over to you guys, obviously.
Avatar etlu danda?
Prepare since PGC, now going back into PMI.
Yeah, So since PGC, now you guys missed me by the way. It was a short turnaround, so we didn't really have that much time.
7.6.
However, before coming, I knew like the teams that obviously were going to be playing in the PGC. I knew the teams that were going to be playing, so we had a week off at PGC or in between because we qualified at a group to the grand finals. So once I finished my grand finals prep, I just started working on prep for this event, which it was it's obviously a bit of a unorthodox.
నేను ఒక దాంట్లో is not story లేదన్నారు.
Obviously moving forward it won't be, but I just went back to like
visuals బాగున్నాయి కానీ story లేదు.
Found out like what we did good, what we did bad, like how teams played, and then even though it was regional, I was able to get some some good takeaways from that and give it to the boys. So
hopefully that answers your question there, Toffees. I don't know if you got any more, Leo. I can see.
I have a question.
James, you get to ask.
Do you know which map are you picking?
David keep changing their minds. I'm going to caveat before he answers. They keep changing at the moment.
So I think we'll probably we'll probably go Erangel, but obviously if Erangel's at cap, then we're more than likely going to go Miramar.
Right, boys. One last question. Because Gunnar has to get back down
so
to the coaches.
I've just got to jump in. We don't ever get this information right before the broadcast. Who's the fantasy player that we should pick on Falcons today?
Okay, well, I will warn everyone that we did have a little sickness. So Kick is getting over his sickness. I picked Kick because of the price. Don't tell the rest of my team that, but Shrimzy's like a tank and just never gets sick. So you're probably good with picking him for all 3 days because I mean he like eats dirt or something and gets his like constitution up. So yeah, you could probably go with him. H1 went crazy in finals for us, so but he's not sick either. He got over it, so you're probably safe picking everyone. Tig is sick right now, but he's Tiggleton, so you could expect him to perform, adapt and overcome, and embrace the suck. That's what we say in the Marine Corps. That's what I tell them. Unless they're missing an arm, they're going to be sitting at that desk playing.
నావి వాళ్ళు ఎందుకు బీజేపీ అవుట్ అని పెడుతున్నారు.
You hear it from him.
Suck my dick and Glory's got
in shorts today, and it is cold here, guys. So maybe I'll be hitting the Shrimzy. He seems to be built a little bit different.
PL lost Shrimzy.
Pardon me, I may or may not have been taken from the fantasy roster, and I'm doing some slight adjustments off the conversation. Thank you so much, guys, for your insights. Appreciate it. Hopefully, we'll be able to get in, talk to you guys a bit more. So, right out of this, that we have learned, Cloris, is the fact that Gunnar force feeds Shrimzy dirt.
Apparently, I'm keeping Tig. Just so you know, I'm keeping.
I can't believe how
love you,
fickle that
Shrimzy.
is. The betrayal.
I don't even have it up.
He had like he had a
Dude, Gunnar
ready.
literally said to us, unless we're in the hospital, we're playing the game.
I
feel like
you
he was probably as sick as I am,
but I
he's
love
like,
my
"Fuck
wife
this."
more and
You actually have no clue how sick he
What the
is, but it's
fuck?
insane to say that on stream.
I just feel like
It's
that.
insane.
And the tab, this is his moment. He was like pumped. He was like, "Yes, you take the day off, buddy."
He's been shadowboxing every day for this.
Dude, exactly.
He's been practicing for the whole year in TPP with an MP5.
Oh my god, bro, it's like...
Bro, they're laughing.
It's so over.
I can hear Navi laughing in real life.
Yeah, like... Oh, Jesus.
They're fucking cracking up.
Start the game.
Holy shit.
Dude.
It's louder than the crowd.
Oh.
I'm gonna minimize. I'm turning this bozo.
TPP good, but P is not good.
Stud Nasty's getting fucking harder.
Stud Nasty, I'm at 60% already, man.
You're
Come
so
on.
loud, bro.
It's because what do you mean? My fucking... It's my voice, you know what I'm saying? I just
You're
be
streaming, so you started talking deeper
TPP
on purpose.
equals
Your voice is
TPP
deep.
Pia Power. Interesting.
Shrimzy, what's your name on Discord?
Mm.
Biff Gnarly, now you know
I'm
that.
turning you down, thank you.
His name's
Yeah,
B.
that's not-
T1 verse 4 AM.
Dude, they're all typing SB, Shabi, Sibal in...
Give me Kenji. I'm
Dude, there's
hungry. 32 observers.
T1 versus 4 AM win.
Why is... Dude, that's why the server's so laggy. We have 33 observers, yeah.
Wait.
We're gonna have like 10 frames.
Bro, who is Big Pie
T1
Sports?
4 AM equals 4 AM, go home.
Big pie.
Big Pie Sports 3.
Big Pie is the people running the company. It's Big Place.
Oh.
Soup map.
Why you moaning?
Look how many Chinese observers there are, bro.
There's no way H would ask him also.
Should
He won Nova. ఏంది బ్రో అట్లా కొట్టుకుంటారు వీళ్ళు అసలు ఈ స్పాట్ ప్లేయర్స్ ఇంకేంది అసలు
4 AM 2-1. It's known.
Start it.
Alright, lock in on this plane path. We can't make it. We're ulting.
Oh my god, I need
Let's
the
go
piece of paper in
ferry.
front of me. Oh, I got fucked.
We did our
That's
best.
even better,
Actually, that's
we
better.
did our best.
I'm
Egg
better
gonna
for you guys, I'm
bully me
cooked.
there on yellow line.
Oh, that's good, guys.
Yeah, we're getting entered. Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, you guys can go next.
T1 for him, Yaz.
AO can't. Oh, they don't speak the same language.
Lipos FW.
Soul just did green line.
Sev is Begapa.
They're just gonna do this.
Okay, sorry.
DNF Roz.
Lock
School
in.
Twisted.
School's not twisted.
School's
Not
Pharaoh.
Twisted. Pharaoh. Twisted can't make it power.
That'll be
They're
Kameski,
probably
I
all-
think.
Or they'll stretch Lipo and steal cars.
I mean, FW would be Lippo, unless they go
Genji
Quarry
also
here.
can't make it. Unless they steal Malukar.
Genji will stretch for Ferry here.
Yeah, they stretch.
Southie, Furia, JDG. One of them might go North George. Who else can't make it? Novo's EA Arena. Their alt is Zarky, so they might go North George and like steal
It's
cars.
a rough stretch as well. I mean, they'd have to do steal that car.
Well, there's no
Someone
North George team.
should
at
go
the
Stauber.
moment, so.
I mean,
It's interesting pickup because I obviously didn't expect Perfectix to not be able to get there, but Molodox was fantastic in group stages at PGC and then kind of fell off in the grand finals of PGC relative to the rest of his roster. So that said though, BB team, I said it before we actually kind of brought this topic up as well. They did look amazing in TPP this year in EMEA. So maybe Molodox can bring some of that.
I'm kind of intrigued because we know that Twisted didn't get what they wanted out of PGC.
Start, JB.
And Batulin's the type of guy that puts a lot of blame on himself. If anything, bring in a new face for just a couple of games, because we're looking at 15 across, what we're going to be looking at this weekend. That might kind of reinvigorate him and kind of get him back to a level of basics, so that way he's readjusted and really prepared for what's going to become. I'm intrigued to see how this kind of plays out all in all. A couple of small things that we've got going on we're not going to dive too deep into because we don't really know too much about is that we also do have a tag in for whenever we're looking through the squads. What is it? Trying to remember the name. I26V6 is going to be playing, tagged in on that one. I'm looking forward to you guys trying to dive in and explain that one and cast it. That's always a bit of a tongue twister. But we also have FW here. This is kind of just getting tagged in at last minute right after PGC. Toffees, I hear like a little bit of a giggle. Is this like a Herculean effort? Because everybody else is mega warmed up.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, I would have said the same thing about Full Sense at PGC, though. So I'm going to go ahead and suspend disbelief on a team that's, maybe not warmed up or sort of out of practice. Because while everyone else has been grinding it out, these guys have actually had the last couple of weeks, if not months, to just focus on the format and the changes and prep for this tournament. So that could benefit them. I don't really see them winning this event, but I think it could help them a lot.
Any takes on that one, Cloris?
Not too much on FW. I think
Molodox
they're a bit of an unknown commodity relative to everything we've seen internationally, right? Of course, we have seen these guys in the past.
Team change అయిపోయింది బ్రో what the fuck Lugu లేడు Perfectix లేడు
the level of what we've seen just at the recent PGC.
Well, we got a chance to hear from Mark Powers, so let's also get a chance to get an idea on what it's like to be a pro player in recent events, trying to get everything established, get your mindset right, get the warming up. We've got Michael, so it would be remiss to not get a little bit of information with him right before we jump into the game. So Michael, like whenever you're just like a couple of minutes before that first match, like is it nerves, is it energy, is it silence? What is it that is kind of happening?
I think this tournament might be a bit different because a lot of teams are just going to be feeling it out. They don't really know what to expect. There's a lot of IGL changes, game style changes. Now people are getting prize money for winning games and killing people. So I don't know. It could be a bit different to a regular LAN, but players are feeling a lot of excitement rather than nerves, unless it's a first-time player on a LAN, which none of these players should be, except for maybe one of Pero's players.
Well, it is time for game number one. No more ifs, could-haves, whatever's going to happen. We've got you as set as we can. So Michael and I are going to jump out, and we're going to throw it over to Colaris and Toffees to take us into game number one.
Yes, thank you very much, guys. All right, me and Toffee's going to be bringing you the first games. It is Christmas time, and it's the Invitational, as you can see, live from Seoul, South Korea, to get everything rolling. Erengel's our first map, Toffees, so we know that is for sure. But once somebody wins, we could be going anywhere.
It's anybody's game. I like the idea they're picking a map. I did think it'd be kind of fun to like have a veto system, but that would just be too much, I think, with 16 teams.
They'll remove
This is a fun new
FPP
thing
from
to try.
esports though.
I'm also, Michael, you're not off the hook. We're calling you back at some point here to talk about the early game and how important it can be in these tournaments. But I'm very excited, James. I think this is a fun opportunity, as I don't think you and I have been on the mic together in years in this capacity, so it's going to be a good one. And two, it's like just unexpecteds across the board. How do BRDMs come into play? I guarantee you we're going to see 2 on every map. The ability to drive a BRDM and collect information is going to be absolutely incredible in this one, right? The way that people are breaching compounds. I think cars are going to have such a higher prio, and they're already super prioritized, as already we'd see 4AM and Tiggleton, or as Shrimsy, go early into this one. Oh, come on, Shrimsy, dodge, baby.
That was close indeed. Obviously, they were just kind of cutting off their parachutes a little early to try and be down on the ground as quickly as possible. Both players are very adept at doing that, so Shrimsy is going to have to tuck his tail between his legs and run away. I will say, looking at that initial perspective, he was a little bit higher than Longs, but at the same time, as we take a look across the map now, we are seeing that T1 as well as 4AM are in the same spot, Yasnaya. However, T1 does have E-End separated up at no lean. So maybe the propensity to actually go for this kind of extremely aggressive hot drop is less likely, especially also with Longs trying to get some cars from other locations.
All right. Michael? I think Michael's still around. I want to talk to him about the start of these games in particular. And some of the system changes, because we have new IGLs in the form of Gen G. We got a bunch of players that are coming in as substitutes. And as the hunt for Shrimsy continues, Kickstart does have a gun. He's going to come over and try to use that to throw Longs off. So nice shots here by Kickstart to say, leave my Shrimsy
alone. Nice.
And he does it. Headshot to Longsy, and that is going to be him down. Shrimsy's going to punch him out for good effort, gets himself a Dragunov and a vehicle. And Falcons, that's a great way to start this thing.
Yeah, not bad at all. Not bad. All things considered, I thought he was, considering the car situation, I thought Longs wasn't going to stick around.
వాడితో గన్ లేనప్పుడు కార్ దిగి కొట్టొచ్చుగా.
Just way too much of an oversight. I think he should
have తిరుగుతా ఉన్నాడు.
Yasnaya, especially since the hot drop didn't kick off with T1. There was going to be room to loot in Yasnaya, but yeah, I'm a bit skeptical of that move.
All right, so Michael, if you can hear me, I do want to ask about, we've got teams that have changed rosters and teams that have changed IGL. For you, I would assume roster change is more challenging, but I kind of wonder sometimes, is changing the way that you call things more difficult, as we do see PO harassing E-Arena over here. Do you think these early fights are a symptom of the $100 per kill, or is this something you'd normally see?
Oh.
Okay, I thought so too.
Money signs.
I believe Park Pro really rotated this. So the M16, we've already seen it used twice here. Park Pro rotated in with the M16 to cause some trouble. Opon's in the distance with the M24. These aren't fights. They're like third-partying your own team, essentially. It's like 3 individual 1v1s.
ఏమన్నా తొక్కల కామెంటరీ అసలు.
Yeah, very aggressive to start. Maybe shooting range could be an easy exploit on the arena. I mean, for a location like this, right, if you are actually pushing on this kind of position, there are a lot of walls and a lot of trees kind of around it to be able to get some of these lines of sight. And even just south of this, DN Freaks and Petrichor Road kind of stuck in the middle of a fight as well here. Oh, Ian's going out. Can you hear me, Toffees?
Yes, I do.
Good stuff, good stuff.
We're here together. It was an intense moment, and I really wanted to make sure that we were able to put that pressure into the moment here, as it has been a fascinating sort of group fight situation. A lot of individual drops, which I don't know if that's a symptom of being able to sort of visually scout more effectively. But the circle up here at firing range, already these teams mixing it up pretty aggressively. E-Arena down to just Larix. Has got to be pretty frustrating for him, but he has to try to win this, because if he can come out, pull this 2v1, he could still get his team back into the mix.
I'm watching on the map as well, and also seeing some of these kills early, and I don't think it's just the fact that it's 100 per kill. I do think that there's probably a little bit of these teams not actually knowing where a lot of these teams would go in this kind of mode, right? Like, we're seeing how many teams are already centered up. Admittedly, like where this is a circle way north of the river, right? So they were trying to kind of scramble for those high-value positions, but they're running into each other quite a lot already here, with already more kills than I was expecting.
Yeah, I'm actually, it almost feels like a Game 6 situation with how quickly our teams have gotten into this fight. Akon Bagapa has been honestly just hunting out here for a minute. Hakatori, the king of damage himself, opens up and gets that knock on 7700. And it's just Hakatori things, right? I don't care what the perspective is. The only perspective that matters with him is murder.
Yeah, he's very good at that is for sure. And this is Na'Vi just rotating past 17, who's just come out of Pachinki. This is on the west side of that. Navi's going to be completely content with that and then get moving on up. And I think for both teams here, there is a onus to not get bogged down in a fight like this when a circle's like this, right? You don't really want to be on the south side of that river. And now, as Na'Vi, you're moving, thinking to yourself, okay, well, surely there's somebody in Cube. Surely there might be people near those bridges near the east side of George. So you've got to be very careful about your movement here.
I think you hit the nail on the head. The biggest issue for me, especially with this transition, we talk about PMI, is that this is a mode where it's very important to get to those strategic locations early, right? Defense is everything in this game. This fight is cool, but unless that circle keeps moving towards firing range, every team that's involved in this is going to win a couple $100, but not be on the slate to take home the 50,000, as you need to sort of, I think, get those early rotations. For me, PGC was a very edge-heavy meta, and I think that's probably going to shift pretty dramatically over the next 3 days here.
Yeah, people want those prime spots, as you're saying, and for a north position like this, obviously you've got Plane Crash, you've got some of the compounds that DNF as well as Bagel Power are already kind of sitting in. A little bit of an engagement, a scuffle here as Cloris does go down. Susie going to try and do a little bit more against this as he's looking over this way, but it looks like the Expendables are kind of scrambling to try and get him back up. Smokes go out, see if they can get something done, but Spaceman's looking for the off angle.
A lot of nice off angle play. He's waiting for the res. It's a bait. It's a bait, Duck Juice.
Oh.
He died. Okay, so honestly, I think the bait would have worked if Cloris hadn't bled out at that exact moment.
Yeah.
So Susie goes ahead and gets himself that point, and if Spaceman will smartly just rotate away. And I think that they're using the vision, they're using their scouting very effectively as the fight with Furia, and Bagopa continues. Zakraken has been released.
Yeah, Zakraken, or as his friends know him, Leandro Gomez Pereira de Souza Santos. His full name. And I think that as soon as I saw that, I was like,
do it again. Can you do it for everyone?
Oh, that was for everyone. Don't worry.
Oh, that was so good. I mean, no, I'm saying, can we do every player going forward?
No, absolutely not.
Oh, there he goes. As you said, reintroduce him. He gets 2 kills off of that one. Almost gets back behind the rock, but Salute with that M16. Snakers and Trevor at PGC were like, the M16, bro. It is the gun nowadays. And here's Salute apparently also buying into that philosophy.
Well, we've got to get Santos up over there. Zakraken is down. Try and save him wherever they can. DM Freaks is looking for war at the moment. Diel's charging up a nade, trying to throw it across the way here. Gets a little bit of a vision on him, but it doesn't matter anyway. Guman with the AKM and the follow-up coming in from Salute to finish him off here. Fury is going to be scrambling for the moment. They're a little bit disconnected from one another as Gizera as well as Posa going to have to tuck tail and run.
I'm going to need you to go ahead and cover this for a second while I change my fantasy roster.
Oh, no.
Alazine dropped.
Oh, no. Please don't.
You know what? He died. It's not 10 minutes. I have no choice.
He did die. Yeah.
I mean, this is one of those teams, though, as I watched Furia play that one, that I do think they're one of those teams that will thrive next year. They have grinders. They are always playing the game, whether it's pub or scrim. And I think the teams that have been doing that are going to sort of focus on this movement to TPP, have a chance to not only really be ready for next year, but probably make a lot of money. You know, there's like the prize pool even here, it's a ton of opportunity for a team that has sort of looked at it and said, okay, I'm strategically ready to take on this new challenge. And I think Fury is one of those.
Yeah, they should be. They should be, because I mean, they kind of also bring a little bit of kind of more aggressive style, even to the aggressive nature that is America's, and I think that they can thrive from something like that. That said, though, hey, DNF has already got $700 in the bank, thanks to all of the fighting that there's been going on for them. Circle's kind of kind to them as well, as we're still basically north of the river here for a lot of these teams. Now, we've talked ad nauseum with people like Clinton about, how things are going to go for TPP as a whole, and he believes that the Koreans are going to dominate. He thinks that teams like T1, teams like DNF are going to be able to bang things out, and right now, you can't argue with where DNF is.
No, I honestly think that we are going to see that. I especially think we might see some things out of T1 as we go into next year. DNF starting strong, having Salute big on a day one is not something that I'm used to seeing. So if this is working and this is their future strategy, I'm on board with that. I love seeing Salute come out strong on the first day. Yeah,
there was a little bit of a moment, right, at PGC where we're like, okay, has the rest of Korea just taken over where Salute is? Is Salute old news for DN Freaks? And yeah, maybe this is his calling for all intents and purposes. But Falcons is now on the move as well. They are currently situated in the circle. Likewise for Na'Vi. They did manage to get over those problem bridges that we were mentioning earlier. I think that came at the behest, though, of the fact that the Expendables had to move away after their fight with JDG, which allowed them a nice little opening to be able to cut across here scot-free.
Yeah, I think a lot of our teams who didn't land right here at shooting range benefited from that weird little 4 or 5-way fight because there was a shocking amount of space on the fringes, and if any of those teams get the shift, if Falcons pulls something strong, never eat shredded wheat, to the southwest here or east, like, they can win this game. So I do think the fact that we fought so early in the middle opened the door to what is traditionally a very tough rotation at this stage. Orango doesn't have a lot of additional cover, right? Especially here, you have to get those early movements in, and you got to find those compounds quickly.
For Baker Park to get Park Pro back in, because they were saying that Park Pro feels very confident in TPP. So let's see if that can actually work out in their favor. Of course, they've got themselves a few kills, but they lost 2 to 3 at the entering of it. But let's see what FW wants to do, because where are they going? This is a big send. They're walking straight into the killers of DM Freaks here if they're not careful.
Human's got the grenade trapped up, cooks it, tosses it, has to run. Nice dodge. Good grenade, but not enough, and he is going to get roasted. So he goes down. Meanwhile, Deal is fighting FW elsewhere, trying to hold them off.
If FW does stuff like this, Toffees, I think teams like DM Freaks holding a bit of a wider split, because FW is really kind of the truly unknown commodity of this lobby right now. Everybody else has been playing with each other at PGC. They're the one team that could cause some problems for the rest of them. That said, though, Salute is still on it here with the M4, is able to take down Banana 1. Can he deal with Konaxi here? Lying down behind the UAZ, try and throw down some smokes here for a little bit of extra cover, but more shots come in and Heaven will deal with him.
Honestly, I'm most impressed with the Freaks right now. Under attack, two threats, and they were able to. They lost one, but able to reposition and get themselves to completely eradicate FW Esports was really good. Heather taking shots on the outside right now. I'm kind of flabbergasted at how multiple of our teams have just chosen to just be out here on top of the hill with no real hard cover of any sort.
I'm also surprised that the Tab is in the lobby as well for Twisted Minds. I didn't realize that was going to be the sub-in. So I think it's Example Batulins, the Tab, and Molodoc. So it looks like Lou might be on the bench here for this one, unless he's playing under the Tab's account. We'll leave that to speculation for the moment. But the circle does shift in favor of the Falcons, who do have, by the looks of things, 17 Gaming rocking up alongside them.
In fact, I think we'll send a request and send Mark Powers, our man on the floor, over to Twisted Minds to figure out what's the story with the Tab and report back to us. So be good to get some of that field reporter work in.
Yeah, so far so good for the Tab by the looks of things. I mean, just so in case you're unaware about Twisted Minds and stuff like that, Tab has been coaching and kind of managing them for quite a bit of time here, but he is still an excellent player. In the MEA, he was playing on rosters multiple times, so definitely a pro stepping into those shoes, and you should not underestimate the Tab.
Absolutely not. We've seen a couple of times this year where having a really strong, I don't want to say ex-pro as your sub has come in handy. Meanwhile, Type goes ahead and just does it to Raining. Unfortunate. And Bagelpot is eliminated by anyone's legend. Here's Molodoc, the newest member of Twisted Minds for this event only, as I understand it. Already putting in some work. Type eliminated an Example, taking away the free money.
It's kind of a gamer. There's a reason he was one of the PGS MVPs, right? Like Molodox. You could even have a spray of him if you were watching the subsequent events. I think it was PGS 10 that his MVP spray was in whilst we were watching. But Twisted Minds are circling around E-End. E-End is a fish in a barrel right now. Stay very, very still. Do not move E-End.
Oh my goodness. The perfect strategy. They've surrounded him. They know. They have to know.
2-0, what the fuck?
Love that.
Right? I respect the... this is Twisted Minds. Like, there's a guy upside down in a car. Did you need 3 of you to surround him and make sure that you're not trading or going 1v1? Not necessarily. But the fact that they did that shows me how precise they are about making sure they don't take risks.
Yep, got to cover that. I mean, we have seen scenarios in the past where somebody's got away with hiding in like a downed car, a side flipped car, and just sitting there for ages. But a little bit of extra opportunity to be able to spot him out for the Twisted Minds boys that can be entering in from that northeast side. Meanwhile, Na'Vi is currently still trying to thread the needle on this side. I think they're going to get pinched, though, if they're not careful here. They're a little bit spread. JDG's looking at them. Cold 119 goes for the spray. Should be an easy one for this one, but it doesn't knock him. Oh, that's a bit of a disaster.
Ooh, seems like he's a little cold with those sprays. He's not able to sort of bring it in. Ferris down to 8 HP. Has to stop the car and turn around. Tozy getting shot up left and right. It seems like the real go-to is just you know, as long as you don't go under 10 HP. Everyone running super low right now. Hagatori inside of his shack. Not going to be leaving anytime soon.
The Expendables walking up against anyone's legend here at the moment. The threat is dissipated from Na'Vi as they're just looking towards JDG, but now the Expendables is going to be pushing on against anyone's legend. How well can this go? Already utility thrown along. They need to also be wary of the fact that the circle has shifted away from them, so getting this fight done fast might be of importance. Nade goes forward. Sololzi hits Delwyn straight in the face.
Is an important one. Expendables have been a little slow. AL, everyone said, is it going to work with multiple teams? How are the communication issues going to go? So Lolzy says, I don't have to communicate if I just go out and solo everyone.
Great stuff by Sololzi so far. Obviously, he was recently a very, very strong acquisition, obviously, for anyone's legend, alongside what is effectively all-stars. A lot of previous plays from him coming out from when he was on Cerberus, but Tam Vu here shutting him down. Trying to save it here for the Expendables.
MS going to make the move here. Yeah, and they're going to get eliminated. Honestly, I was shocked. Soul and Wicked, almost no contribution to that fight. It seemed like they came in just a minute or two late, and that might have just be a symptom of comm issues, as it's hard to say, I need help here on this corner. It has to sort of go through a process. So a little slow for them. Anyone's legend eliminated. Now we look at Tanvu, who's just desperately trying to find somewhere, anywhere, just a bit of safety, James.
Yeah, just a bit. Extens is kind of holding his trigger finger there for a second, knowing that he was exposed to some other teams, and he does get that off. That's impressive by Extens, because he was completely divided from the other 3 members of Na'Vi. So I think there was a lot of kind of wariness about whether to shoot, how we're going to shoot. Obviously, there was some shots coming his way as well. That said, though, you can see Na'Vi north of the map at the moment here, where Gen G is currently sat. So maybe the Gen G is going to have to be paying attention to how Na'Vi might want to breach on this compound.
Getting a nice defense here. Freaks has been actually really impressive so far. Very aggressive right out of the gate, looking for kills, not afraid to see a fight. Kawazine coming back in. Remember, he got killed early on before the 10-minute mark. His team brought him back, but now you just have to run through the fields naked, which, if you've ever done that, you know it's not as fun as it sounds.
Yeah, it really depends on the climate, right? And if you're in South Korea right now, where it's like minus, so Salute, what was that shot? Kawazin goes down. Salute's got no problem with the cold in South Korea right now, let me tell you that.
No gear, no armor. All right, looks like we're going to see a little back and forth here as Na'Vi and the Freaks kind of ladder each other. But I did hear that Mark has the update real quick on what's happening with Twisted Minds. So as we watch this fight, let's get our weatherman in, or our traffic reporter, to tell us what's going on.
Traffic on the ground. Unfortunately, guys, Lou is ill, we've been told. That's why we're seeing the tabs sort of stepping in today. We're going to keep a close eye on it, see if he actually returns back tomorrow. But as it stands, unfortunately, Lou is out for the day.
The mad scientist gone, and the tab going to crack this one open. I'm not super mad about that. Like you said, James, I think tab is a very strong substitute, and it's nice that they have that sort of depth. It's similar to VP, right? Like, I'm not overly stressed if VP has a sick player at PGC because their coach is a incredible stand-in. So Tab filling that same role very successfully.
Yeah, for sure. EMEA has some of the best coach / previous pro players that you could even hope for. But Orca here for Gen G, they had a great compound. They could hold down JGG as well as DN Freaks at exactly the same time. They're really capitalizing on the fact that DN Freaks was kind of paying attention more to where Na'Vi was going to be coming in from. But more utility will go across the way here. Orca with a perfect grenade to confirm on Spaceman. But Hakatori takes down Salute on the other side. A big fight going on out in the north.
I do like the aggression of that push, though. Na'Vi eliminated in the meantime, but Genji got aggressive and now is falling back. Big change here. Orca is now the IGL after their PGC performance, and that seemed like an Orca kind of play. He likes to be a little more aggressive. He likes to get in there and throw some fisticuffs, and you could see that as they came out of the compound to look to clean up a few extra kills and then slide back. So expect that from this Genji. I think a little more aggression than we're used to.
And it looks like DNF does finally get Salute back up on his feet after now Na'Vi has been completely eliminated from the game. Only 3 kills going the way of Na'Vi. Now we're getting into placement points, though. And DN Freaks, 13 kills. That's already $1,300 on the board for them. And they still have 3 alive. Now, whether or not they can make an entry point on this corner is debatable. It's going to be maybe a little bit tricky to try and find yourself a spot here, but maybe if JDG crunches up against Gen G at the same time, that could work in their favor.
I'm fascinated. Freaks having a really good game, but again, this is a home circle for them. They didn't have to go very far. They were able to cause a little bit of chaos right out of the drop. That said, when I watch Freaks on a day one open up with 13 kills, that's usually an indicator that things are going to get a little bit crazy in the lobby as they go forward. And especially with this $100 bounty per kill, I can see DNF playing super aggressive all day long and saying, we want to start fights within the first 5 minutes on a regular basis.
It could be. And it's going to, the format's going to reward that quite considerably if you want to actually just get those kills on board. That said, though, each game win is also $5,000. And I think in the south side of this circle, we're going to see either Falcons or 4AM kind of capitalize on the fact that there's so much aggression going on in the north side, right? Because there's not really been much going on in the south.
Yeah, it has been quiet because of all of that action. I think the Falcons have really benefited from that. You can see them here moving into the circle nice and slow, focusing on compounds. Still scouting the old-fashioned way with the lean peek instead of the pivot and look. But here, Shrimzy maximizing his use here in the trenches, and this is a very safe Falcons. We heard Gunner say they took some time, they watched some videos, they got to know the teams, and they planned for this event. I think that's pretty obvious with how they're moving through this map right now.
Yeah, not bad at all. Coming in on that southeast side, being able to wiggle on through, kind of negating any 17 movement that was going through their way as well. 17 did take up residency on the north side, but that's because they were kind of forced to almost with the position that Falcons had, as well as an eventual backfill from 4AM. And the circle does go the way of Falcons to a degree. They're doing all right.
We take those. We take those.
Yep.
We don't have a lot of America's teams here, so we're gonna enjoy that shift on game one.
I'm not surprised. It's going to look good for them so far. And it also, what has happened here is because Falcons have controlled their area so well in the south, this has forced 4AM to look elsewhere. And forcing them into the north is like corralling the sheep into the meat grinder at this point. This is, Falcons should be laughing if they had full knowledge of the map. Obviously, it's difficult from this compound. There's a lot of foliage coverage up toward the north. But if they know where everybody is soon, they are going to be in a very happy spot.
Yeah, I like this 2-2 split by them. They're going to go out and get themselves a nice little box here with some tier 3 gear. And I do think that we're going to see more 2-2s today. I think the ability to gather information is going to be paramount for our teams, especially from these defensive postures. Also, the ability to give Overwatch is super high. Shrimzy actually by himself as 4AM crashes in here, but he's got the support of the team from the outside. Shrimzy's got 1 down, makes it 2 as he sprays on the drive-by. Make that a triple with a little bit of help from H-Win and his M24. 1 left, and 4AM says no thank you. 2 left as they just drive away. They said, all right, Falcons, you keep your secrets.
There was definitely a feeling of a little bit of testing the waters there for 4AM going south after abandoning the south, and they were like, okay, well, we truly regret this. Let's go back north. I don't think they want to be in the north either. I'm going to be real. This is going to be problematic for them. That said, though, DNF as well as Twisted Minds is also crashing on this position here to try and dislodge Genji where they are. Bean is already down. H-Win take down Tongmu as well. So 4AM currently down to 1, at least standing. Batulins instantly takes down Salute. Heaven's gone as well. So this is all falling apart here for DM Freaks.
Yeah. Whoa, Freaks, who started so strong, is going to run into the combined might of Gen G with a little bit of chaos from Twisted Minds. They push from two sides at the same time, and that's how you push this. It's hard to breach a compound, but it's a lot easier when you're defending a back and front attack pincer. So here we go, 17 Gaming. Lil Ghost going to be tossing those grenades up there. Orca in a little bit of trouble as he knocked his own man. And 4 Angry Men, who we saw run away a little while ago, is finally eliminated.
Yeah, I love the little flex out from Little Ghost. While this was all going on, we still have more nades coming his way as well, as this was technically them just controlling that solo compound, but realizing there was going to be so much fighting up on the northwest, why not send out one with a few nades here and try and explode that corner completely? Now, JDG has moved away from this, so we're in the top 4 now, with JDG trying to find just a western position. They wanted none of it. I feel like they could have maybe even exploited a little bit of that with some utility, but not to be the case. They're playing things a bit more steady.
అందరూ స్నైపర్ తీసుకున్నారు తెలిసినావా?
Exploitation and third parties is sort of like not right. Their bread and butter is let them fight. And so I do expect to see a lot of them from that today, and maybe some other teams as they adjust to this lobby and a new meta being board. Falcons with 4 deep right now, and 17 is a pretty good spot. 17 does have a compound wall they can work from. That's going to continue to keep them strong as Kickstart drives around on the south, trying to figure out where can we put ourselves right now to make this into the end game. That Twisted Minds crash we saw a little bit earlier, I think, was a great outline of how you try to get into a compound in these situations. That rock, the only spot you can push, and the fact that even Salute knew that. He was on this rock waiting for them to crash it.
Yeah.
These teams just definitely started to break down where the vision points are on some of these difficult to breach compounds.
You're right. Very important to try and hold that out, but obviously it's going to be difficult when someone Twisted Minds of all people is going to push you on against the Little Ghost. Still on a bit of a tear at the moment, but does get knocked here by Bratulins. He's going to try and take any little knock and kill he can get because he knows he's bleeding out. So 1 for his money, not bad at all. This is going to lean in the favor, though, of Falcons. They've been patient on the south side. They've been controlling space on the south side. And even though this was a relatively north shift, they still have a few spots here and there to play against 17, who, once they come off the ridge alongside that compound, I'm curious where they're going to go, because I think that Falcons could have some decent angles here if they're able to get to a few trees, to a few rocks.
I like the aggressive attitude of the Falcons, sort of how wide they've spread out right now, trying to find angles in. 17 is committed to, we have some cover, and we have some vision. The problem is that's not going to last forever, right? So if Falcons can take these risks, grab themselves some berms, utilize the smokes effectively, then it puts 17 on the back foot, which is frustrating, I think, because 17 at the start of this, before the Falcons spread out of their compound, I think was in a better position coming out of this north spot. They've just waited too long. And like where you see Tiggleton right now, in the circle, decent cover, and still a little more functional rotation out of where they are than 17, who even getting the cars out of here is going to be a pain in the butt.
Yes, it will be. As you can see here, obviously for that compound, you've got that wall, you've got that little tiny plateau in front of it, and there's a knock straight away with the M24 here from H-Win. Again, I feel like as soon as 17 has to come off this ridge, they are gonna be in trouble. They already lost Little Ghost. Little Ghost, yes, had his kind of aggression on that northwest side, that northwest corner, where he did get a few kills. But is it worth it if you lose out on $5,000 and not have an off angle to try and shut down where Falcons is going to be able to constrict this circle against you?
I agree with you. I think with Little Ghost, that's just what he does. He's a risk taker. He goes out there and he wants to sort of play these solo positions. It has been an off and on. Yes, it works. Sometimes it doesn't. But I think 17's a high risk, high reward kind of team. They just go out there and say, we're going to play however we feel like it. And if we win the tournament, that's cool. That said, they pulled the first circle in this game. They don't pull this one, however, as the shift goes south. With the BRDM, Kickstart is able to really do a lot of scouting, feed a lot of information back to his team. And because of this circle, he doesn't have to get into Panzerfaust range to do it. And that is the most crucial part.
And also, it's very healthy still, the BRDM. So even if they wanted to spray into it, look how much ammo some of these members on 17 have. I saw like 70 shots just then on one of the guns for 17. So if they all start lathering into it, and then they have to move, they could easily be killed off by Falcons if they try and move forwards. Nays go forwards, though. You do know where Falcons has moved for the off angle here, but Tiggleton hits him on the side of the smoke.
Oh, I love this 2v2. They've created a V pattern where they own the entire slice of the pie. Kickstart's just driving around. I think he's figured out the ammunition situation.
Said new view
Panzerfaust lob? No way.
It's too long, I think.
Hey, got
yeah.
Oh no, too short.
Anyway. Not bad, Tiggleton.
నువ్వు ఆడుతున్నావు బ్రో లేదు బ్రో చూస్తున్నా
they know that 17 is dead to rights right now. Once these smokes dissipate, that's a good name against Shrimsy, but still, I don't know whether or not 17 can break out of this again.
H-Win
is down.
This monster with a bolt. I told you, they spun the cars out trying to get that Dacia out. They're now down to a 3v2. Sure, Shrimsy's knocked, but Kickstart with a strong forward position is going to give them absolute dominance over this dot. 17 has nowhere to go. You just deny at this point.
Easy. Yeah, Falcons takes it, controls the south side. 17, as soon as they try and come off that ridgeline, it is almost impossible. So Falcons gets the win. And hey, we interviewed Gunnar before. We suspect we know what they're going to choose.
Karthik's Rupita 9709 said NI FAF team LA Dindi.
Iదే నా team favorite team win అయింది ఇప్పుడు చికెన్ డిన్నర్ ఒకటి.
They have some of the most strict
నీ favorite team
rules
ఎలా
I've ever
ఆడింది?
heard in terms of how you handle
ఇదే బ్రో నా
yourself
favorite
pre,
team.
post, and during a tournament. These guys are made to win. That's what they want to do. Doesn't matter the format, doesn't matter the place. They're going to take the flag, go to select a map, and this is the selection ceremony. They choose Erangel as map number 2.
Not too much of a surprise for us here, taking out Erangel. I think that they feel very confident when it comes to Erangel. In the grand finals of PGC, their average points on Erangel was 13.2. That's the grand finals of the World
Karthik's
Championship.
Rupita 9709 said
They're
Ipoinda.
also amazing to start things
ఒక మ్యాచ్
for our first
అయిపోయింది.
Erangel of PPM.
ఇంకా 5 ఉంటాయి.
Absolutely. Not shocking. Not shocking that they made that choice. Not shocking that we're going to bring Matchroom back in to hang out with us. Are you shocked that the Falcons got the first win of the day, Matt?
I had faith, even though you guys called me out. I had Tiggleton on my squad before we even kicked off everything. I was a bit shocked, though, by the Freaks at the start. Those guys were just absolutely ferocious. I know, I think it was Claris, you were talking about it. That paper kept saying, dude, the Freaks, they've been playing so much TPP, they're going to be dominant whenever we see them in action on
Karthik's
TPP.
Rupita 9709 said PC, PUBG, or mobile.
Swinging in a big way.
Yeah, I
PUBG
think
PC.
the question is how they're going to convert these kills. Because
PUBG
yes,
mobile
you can go out and get 13 kills and stuff like that for a game like this. But if
PUBG
you're not
PC
getting the win off the back
first
of it,
time
we'll see
ఇది
how
పెడుతుంది
that kind of shapes and
టోర్నమెంట్
molds the
TPP
lobbies overall.
టోర్నమెంట్
That
ఇప్పటి
said,
నుంచి
though, whenever you see a team going super kill heavy,
ఎన్ని డేస్
eventually the
FPP
kill, the
పెట్టిందిగా
wins should come their
ఇప్పటి
way,
నుంచి
right?
TPP
Oh,
పెడుతుంది.
yeah, poor Ian.
అదే చూసిన ఇదే
Inside
ఫస్ట్
the car.
టోర్నమెంట్.
Twisted did get a bit of an update.
ఎట్లా
Boots on the
ఆడతారని.
ground people let us know the fact that Lou was feeling a little bit under the weather at the start of game number 1. That's how come Tab played. But rumor is that Lou should be back for game number 2. Poor Michael actually had Lou on his fantasy squad. Was just having to sit back and watch.
Oh no.
It's a crazy start to the day. This has just been an interesting shift as well. You guys were alluding to it pretty strongly, Toffees, about 17 and playing in the defensive position for playing for points, but not necessarily playing for the win and getting the prize money out.
I mean, $100 a kill. I don't think I would have. I mean, I'm just greedy. I would have died
Karthik's
to blow it.
Rupita
We're going for it,
9709
boys.
said Entha set
Send the
next
Dacia.
round.
But I do think that they're playing
Next
for the
round,
50K. Staying
I
in
thought
the
5 minutes,
shelter
10
was their
minutes.
system, right? They play these high proc values.
10 minutes.
They look for points on placement, and they take fights if they come to them. They prefer not to go to the fight. So I do think the way that game ended was exactly what I'd expect. from the
వీళ్ళంతా
17,
TPP
Falcons
ఆడరు
showdown.
బ్రో ప్లేయర్స్
And I will say, 17
FPP
Falcons
ప్లేయర్స్.
Mr.
showdown
Bite said
is
I am
their
Namaskaram.
name a more iconic duo in PUBG.
Hey,
when
namaste,
two teams
Mr.
go look
Bite.
at it when it's important.
Welcome to the
So
stream.
Seeing them sort of start this off as the final two, nostalgically, was awesome for me.
We're also kind of talking about the
Namaste,
strength of
namaste.
the VRDM whenever we look at TPP, and man, Falcons, they just ran amok in this later stage with it. 17, I guess, just kind of burned a lot of their utility in the early stages. They had the squads that were next to them, so no Panzerfaust, but once we saw this circle, it just was so dominant afterwards.
ఏమైనా ఫన్నీ మూమెంట్స్ అవుతాయా అని
I just love
చూస్తున్నా.
the fact that Falcons went with that just Hail Mary Panzerfaust shot that actually, I think, hit the side of the hillside leading into 17's compound.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if roles were reversed in positions, right, where Falcons is suddenly having to deal with a lot of teams shooting at their BRDM, then obviously it could be completely different. But because there was no one challenging them in the south, they went into that late game with so
Karthik's Rupita 9709 said viewership anti-bro PC PUBG key Kalataku Yundi.
చాలా తక్కువ అసలు ఎవరు చూడు ఇవాళ తుత్తర ఆపుకోలేక RDR 2
Nesto Byte said Ivala Thuthera Eapu Kolka RDR2, Assassin's Creed Origins, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, The Witcher 3 Konsa Epic Games Low.
What the fuck? Rich bro, rich kids. అన్నెట్లా కొన్నావు బ్రో? Okay, sorry.
Like I'm at some missing bombs, low key. Bro, I shot a panther at their compound and it landed right below the ridge. Like 10 meters further and it actually would kill them. If it hit that tank somehow, that was shit.
2K views అంతే. పబ్జి అఫీషియల్ దానికి ఎఫ్పిపికి అయితే ఒక 15-20K వ్యూవర్షిప్ వస్తుండే, 15 to 20K, అదే మ్యాక్స్. ఇంకా ఎవరు చూడరు పబ్జి పీసీ.
Nestobite said credit card bill clear chisa concham, Kali ga konapadath discount undi ani konsa bro.
క్రెడిట్ కార్డ్ బిల్ క్లియర్ చేసా, కొంచెం ఖాళీగా కనబడితే డిస్కౌంట్ ఉంది అని కొనేసా బ్రో. ఎఫ్ అనుకున్నావా లేదా? ఎఫ్ అనుకోలేదా? షేట్. స్టార్ట్ అవుతుంది అనుకుంటా.
Karthik's Rupita 9709 said Valhalla Battle Batman Trilogy Konal Sindi Inka Taku Yundi.
వాళ్ళ బదులు బ్యాట్మెన్ ట్రైలజీ కొనాల్సింది ఇంకా తక్కువ ఉంది.
Karthik's Rupita 9709 said NYT F1 stream a bro.
Night F1 stream, yes.
Getting ready for game number 2. It's Matcham and Michael.
Nestobite said Valhalla Epit Nunko Adadam Anukantana Anjik Kana bro smiling face with open mouth and cold sweat.
Falcons, a lot of the teams that made it a late game, they all seem to avoid a lot of the fighting.
ఎంత పెట్టినావు బ్రో? మొత్తం 10K అయిందా?
Karthik's Rupita 9709 said I am gonna be your Andrea Stella then.
Okay, Karthik bro.
There's 40 people alive, and the teams that are playing slow and playing the same style as FFP are making late game, getting the kill counts that they actually need, and making more money overall to win the tournament.
Yeah, because yes, there are points for kills, but you also have to propel that into getting the victory, because there are still points being tracked, and there's a reward for overall winners. So there's a lot of different elements of ways that you can look at this. So trying to get kills early can net you a couple points, but the survival stage, like you're talking about, it feels like
Nestobite said Lethu bro Epic Games Bari sale na just in D 2.2K key kana anukanta
we
4.
saw a lot of vehicle pushes in
And
Server 2 than I think that we saw through most of PGC.
లేదు బ్రో, ఎక్విప్ గేమ్స్ భారీ సేల్ నడుస్తుంది.
2.2K said comedy anti Andrea Stella X Ferrari Engineering Vadi Valle Oka WDC Odipoyaru.
కామెడీ ఏంటంటే ఆండ్రియా స్టెల్లా ఎక్స్ ఫెరారీ ఇంజనీర్, వాడి వల్లే ఒక WDC ఓడిపోయారు.
Really slow game, and as soon as they got the right time to fight, they got up to the planes to fight, they instantly got third partied and got cut out of the game. So they thought it was right, but now like everyone is looking for that opening time to fight, and it's just like it can never be right in this tournament. It's going to be hard to find the timings.
And I guess that is kind of a thing, right?
అందుకే తీసేసారంటావా అన్ని?
I guess
2.2K అన్ని వచ్చినాయా? అంత పెద్ద సేల్ నడుస్తుంది ఎపిక్ లో.
Right? Because
let's check.
Whenever we look at this, everybody is going to be just waiting to pounce on the sides, you know, getting information, trying to see how close that they can get, expecting a firefight to happen. So you're going to end up with threats
అది
that
కొత్త
are so
గేమ్
much
ఓపెన్
closer
అయిందా?
than you might be expecting, or
ఎన్ని
just
డేస్?
a little bit more free to push in the open, which is not what I was expecting in TPP. I was expecting it to be a little bit more hesitation of people making like a more bold run across open areas, but in this it feels like everybody thought that they had the information they could
ఇదే అనుకుంటా కొత్త గేమ్.
ran at them so aggressively.
Hordes of Hell.
Yeah, I'm expecting a lot of teething problems for people that can't adapt as fast in this tournament, and I'm curious to see how long it's going to last before people
Nestobite said
start
Lethu bro
slowing down
night
the
Okadi
fighting, and we
next
start
game.
seeing a little bit less fighting in the early game.
లేదు బ్రో, నైట్ వచ్చింది నెక్స్ట్ గేమ్.
Nestobite said Adinina Okindi.
ఇది నిన్న వచ్చిందా? క్లెయిమ్ చేసుకుందాం, కానీ నేను ఆడాను ఇట్లాంటి గేమ్స్, అస్సలు ఆడాను.
And Claris and Toffees were talking about this as it was a very strong showing at PGC for them on Aaron Kell. No
అస్సలు
surprise that they're
నచ్చదు.
going to be picking it right off the get-go to try to follow up after getting that good.
లీగ్ ఆఫ్ లెజెండ్స్ లాగా
It feels like
బ్రో రాకెట్
there's
లీగ్
so much more
దేంట్లో
comfort
ఉంటది
for the
స్టీమ్ లో
Falcons
ఉందా
on Aaron Gill. Do you have any insights on what you've kind of noticed?
చాలా
about
మంది
these
అడుగుతున్నారు
models
బ్రో
and
రాకెట్
why
లీగ్ ఆడదామని
it feels like they are so much more
డౌన్లోడ్ చేస్తాం
Karthix Rupita 9709 said shit game next game Anna Manchi di Valley.
You said who? Sorry, which team? Sorry.
షిట్ గేమ్ నెక్స్ట్ గేమ్ అన్నా
Yeah,
మంచిది
I
ఇవ్వాలి
don't know. I think
Nesto Byte said
especially
epic
together
loan
getting
undi
the
chudu
BRDM,
bro.
ఓకే
I think they're just playing
Steam
the same
లో
playstyle,
ఉందా
honestly. They're just a team that they don't
Karthix
take
Rupita
early fights too often.
9709 said
They
Epic
keep four
Games
alive.
Rocket League.
They let Hatering go do a lot of scouting. The other three stays a 3-man. And they
దీంట్లో లేదు
I think they
ఎపిక్
honestly
లోనే
overall
ఉంది
do
అనుకుంటా
really well this
Karthix
tournament. They
Rupita
just- they don't mess
9709
around.
said
They
Ledu.
have really good structure.
ఓకే ఓకే
I think even in Miramar as well, they're going to be gathering a lot of points. I think they could be a real threat this tournament to win it all.
ఇది ఇంకా 5 days ఆ నెక్స్ట్
said
గేమ్
about, like, I guess slowing back down the pacing in this, right? Sure, they did get a compound. They got a little bit of positioning favor with the circles, but also it was a bit wild at the start, right? With freaks kind of popping off, they got a lot of kills.
ఇది
out of it.
లాంచ్ ఎందుకు చేశాను
But at the same
Karthix
time, we
Rupita
also did see one kind
9709
of
said
fall
5
down,
HOURS.
squads that were kind of known for manipulating FPP
Aim
with their
fires?
aggression, such as like the Expendables, did find some kills, but not like I would say the reach into the later stages that they wanted. So do you think that that's going to be kind of the nature of the beast as we move forward with this, or do you think that there is still a place for that early game aggression that those squads really seem to like?
I think honestly, like DNF is off.
Karthix Rupita 9709 said next game 5 days COD for 5 hours.
Then you have a crazy team like Peril.
5 hours
Nesto
ah.
Byte said daily 1 game Okadi Bro Night 9:30 key December 31st Varaku.
Yo, let's just
Okay,
divide the
okay.
fights. Let's just keep 4 alive, control our space. play
మరి
for the
నేను
mid
ఎందుకు
game,
బ్రో ఒకటే
and then
గేమ్
all
గేమ్
of a sudden
క్లెయిమ్
we do
చేసిన
a
హాగ్వర్డ్స్
4-man,
ఒకటి
Peril can
అంటే
fly
డైలీ
at
చెక్
full
చేస్తా
speed, and
ఉండాలి
then all of a sudden you're getting third partied again. They got in a fight with FW and then T1.
ఓకే
It all
5
kind
hours
of ripple affected, but they're just a crazy team with crazy mechanical skills, so they got so many points out of it.
నా దగ్గర ఉన్నాయంతే ఎపిక్ లో
Nesto Byte said Hogwarts
To
at
the,
LE Bro
video
first
real quick,
game.
and we try to get everything ready for game number 2.
హాగ్వర్డ్స్ వెళ్ళే బ్రో ఫస్ట్ గేమ్ ఓకే ఓకే
Both mental and physical endurance. Autumn followed, filling every moment with unforgettable highlights.
Bakoten.
Glory for some, tears for others. This
ఎంత
was
జీబీ
our
ఉంది ఇది
history, and now a new story begins. A major turning point. 2025 PUBG Masters Invitational, Seoul, South Korea.
Oh, it's typical. You got a big logo behind me. Hackatory, yeah!
我说实话，兄弟们，如果这次 4M 能拿冠军，我从首尔走回深圳。
Karthix Rupita 9709 said minimum 50 GB.
50 GB what the fuck
우리가 3인칭
37 GB
다른 팀들은
ก็เก่งดีครับผม แต่ว่าเจอหน้าผมก็
should I
Хороший гравець.
ఫస్ట్ గేమ్ అన్ఇన్స్టాల్ చేయాలి
10 ігор може щось видати, показати гру. ก็ขอบคุณที่ให้คิว4คิวใน PDS บ่อยๆนะครับ
Це була просто стратегія пропустити слабку команду в фінал. Та й все.
і ชนะทัวร์นี้ไหมไม่รู้แต่ชนะนาวีแน่นอน
Перемога буде за Наві. Ми його не будемо давати дихати.
ఆలోచిస్తున్నా చేయాలో వద్దా అని.
게이밍의 중국의 사다라고 들었는데
Karthix Rupita 9709 said IPO into Dead Island.
డెడ్ ఐలాండ్ అయిపోలే అసలు కష్టంగా ఉంది
어려운데? 선수끼리 얘기하는데
ఊకే చచ్చిపోతున్నా
좀 빠져주시면 좋을 것 같아요. 꼭 우승해가지고
పెద్దగా
Nesto
నచ్చని
Byte
కూడా
said
నచ్చలేదు
cheesy bro Andrew Adaguru Anav GA.
会好好教一下
అదే అదే చేస్తా
怎么夺冠。
ఇది అన్ఇన్స్టాల్ ఎట్లా చేయాలి బట్
上次 PGC 呢，你们仅仅只是一个游客，我觉得这次你们也一样。
Karthix Rupita 9709 said Mari Taravatache Dead Island Ayaka.
మరి తర్వాత చేయి డెడ్ ఐలాండ్ అయ్యాక అది కాదు బ్రో అది వేస్ట్ గేమ్ అసలు నాకు
Nesto Byte
నచ్చలే
said options low manage Kadi uninstall Kadi.
కొట్టేసా
에이 집주인 바뀌었어요. 저 야권주의 T1. T1의 전통이 하나 있는데요. 저희도 이어나가 보려고 합니다. T1은 PCL에게 지지 않습니다.
虽然他们
చల్లో రాకెట్ లీగ్ ఇన్స్టాల్ చేస్తాం
但是终归结底还只是一个动物。
Sabe aquele time que foi pra casa logo depois da PGC começar? Então, a JDG.
我并不认为他们的说法很有说服力，因为他们是16支队伍最菜的。
JDG, vocês são tão fracos. Tu vai pra casa cedo de novo.
Karthix Rupita 9709 said NA Xbox Low Rocket League Yundi Let's Play.
Okay, okay. ఆడదాం ఆడదాం.
우승을 말로 하는 건 쉽죠. 근데 우리는 우승자 출신이라 가능할 것 같아요.
Nhất định bọn mình sẽ vô địch giải đấu lần này. รู้จักครับค่อนข้างดังในเกาหลีเลยครับแต่ผมก็ไม่รู้ว่าไปอยู่เวียดนามได้ไง
ఎందుకు ఇంత లేట్ చేస్తున్నాడు?
เปลี่ยนชื่อโซเป็นฮานอยหรืออะไรสักอย่างของเวียดนามเนี่ยครับคุยกันให้รู้เรื่องก่อนไหมครับแล้วค่อยมาเล่นแบบเป็นทีม
Karthix Rupita 9709 said e-break ilapu veravi reactivachu ga.
ఈ బ్రేక్ అయ్యేలోపు వేరేవి రియాక్ట్ అవ్వచ్చుగా. అంటే రియాక్షన్ యూట్యూబ్ అంటున్నాం.
I gotta do something, bro. I gotta shine somehow.
టైం పట్టేలానే ఉంది ఇది. బెల్మౌత్ వీని ఎంత స్పీడ్ అవుతుంది? 80 mbps. ఓకే.
Nestobite said Epic Games sale should have bro e lapu.
చూస్తా. హాలిడే సేల్ అంటున్నావా? 11th to January 8th. Book game. Arc Raiders. GTA 5 1200 ఉంది. 1500 F125.
Karthix Rupita 9709 said the 2024 F1 season in 19 minutes should have full comedy untadi.
The 2024 F1 season in 19 minutes. చూడు ఫుల్ కాంబినేట్ అది. చూసా. ఈ గేమ్ బాగుంటుంది బ్రో. యాక్చువల్లీ ఆడాను. గోస్ట్ ఆఫ్ సుషిమా బ్రో ఆడుతున్నాడు. బార్డర్ ల్యాండ్సా, స్పైడర్ మ్యాన్, ఇవన్నీ ఫిట్ గర్లో ఉన్నాయి తెలుసా. అన్ని గేమ్స్ ఉన్నాయి ఫిట్ గర్లో. కొన్ని అవసరమే లేదు అసలు. మోస్ట్ ప్లేడ్ సెకండ్లో ఉంది హాగ్వర్డ్స్. అంతా క్లెయిమ్ చేసుకున్నారు ఫ్రీగా వచ్చినప్పుడు. తర్వాత రాకెట్ లీగే. ఓకే. జెన్షన్ ఇంపాక్ట్. ఫిట్ గర్లు ఏమన్నా కొత్త వచ్చినాయో చూద్దాం. ఫిట్ గర్ల్ GTA 5, BF6, Battlefield 6 కూడా వచ్చేసిందా? క్యాంపెయిన్ ఓన్లీ. ఓకే. ఎక్స్పెడిషన్ 33 ఉంది. గోస్ట్ ఆఫ్ సుషిమా, ఫోజా బ్రో. ఇది ఫోర్జా హొరైజన్ 5. What do you think? గేమ్ ప్లే ఎట్లా ఉందో చూద్దాం.
Karthix Rupita 9709 said 200 GB fame.
200 GB ఫేమా? దేనికి? అసలు దీంట్లో ఏముంటుంది?
Karthix Rupita 9709 said Forza Horizon 200 GB.
200 GB అయితే ఏముంటుంది బ్రో దీంట్లో? ఏమైనా మిషన్స్ ఉంటాయా? లేదా ఊరికే జస్ట్ డ్రైవ్ చేసేది ఒకటేనా?
सुपर पावर यूज करने
అయిపోయింది కారు పప్పుచారు అయిపోయింది నా చేతి
అరే తెలుగు బ్రో
వచ్చేసాము. ఒరే టైంకి వర్షం కూడా పడుతుంది అబ్బా సూపర్. ఉరి వాడు చూడండి అబ్బా ఎలా వెళ్ళిపోతున్నాడు. వాట్ ఇస్ గైస్ వెల్కమ్ బ్యాక్ టు Forza Horizon 5. సో కాస్త లేట్ అయిపోయింది వీడియో వచ్చేసి, ఎందుకంటే నేను గ్రైండ్ చేస్తూ కూర్చున్నా. ఇప్పుడైతే మనం కొనేపోతున్నాము
తెలుగు బ్రో.
సో చూద్దాం మరి
సెటప్ కూడా ఉంది బ్రో మంచిగా.
1 మినిట్. అండ్ నా దగ్గర అయితే వీల్ స్పిన్స్ కూడా ఉన్నాయి అబ్బా. ఒకవేళ
Karthik Sripata 9709 said he is famous YouTuber Cosmic Boy.
నా దగ్గర లేదనుకుంటా ఈ కారు, ఎందుకంటే చాలా
Nesto Byte said the Cosmic Boy famous bro Telugu low 3YRS back cod Eden and Badatha.
ఒక 70-80
అవునా.
సో దాంట్లో మనకి చాలా కార్స్ అయితే వచ్చినాయి. ఓకే ఆక్షన్ హౌస్ లో ఎంత ఉందో చూద్దామండి. నాకు నచ్చలేదు. జురాసిక్ పార్క్ ది ఇది భలే ఉంది అబ్బా. అవసరం లేదు, ఇక్కడ నుంచే వాటర్ ఉన్నట్టు ఉందిగా. ఎస్ మనం వెళ్ళాల్సింది కూడా అటే. ఎలాగో ఈ వాటర్ని దాటలేనా బాగా లోతా ఉండదనుకుంటా కదా అలాగా ఫోర్జాలో. నువ్వు ఆగు తల్లి, ఎందుకు అలా తిరిగిపోతావు. అండ్ మీకు చుట్టుపక్కల చూపించలేదు కదా.
Karthik Sripata 9709 said Minecraft videos cheese vedo lockdown low shows badanai.
చూసి నాకే డిఫెండర్ మైన్క్రాఫ్ట్ అన్నమాట. సో అందుకే సార్ జురాసిక్ పార్క్ వెళ్ళిపోయాను. అండ్ ఆల్సో మీకు చెప్పాను కదా ఆ జురాసిక్ పార్క్ జీప్ కొనే ప్లాన్లు అయితే ఉన్నా నేను. సో దానికంటే ముందు ఇది లోకి వస్తేనేమో కార్ కనిపిస్తుంది మనకి.
అంటే ఏంది ఇట్లా ఫ్రీ ఓపెన్ వరల్డ్ ఇట్లా తిరుక్కుంటుండాలి అంతే. నాకేమో
బాగుంటది.
Nesto Byte said GTA 5 though cutest stories chest chul untadu.
GTA 5 తో కూడా స్టోరీస్ చేస్తున్నాడు. ఓకే ఓకే చూద్దాం చూద్దాం.
కనిపించవట్లేదు మైక్ వల్ల. ఎస్ ఈ లుక్ బాగుంటుంది. నైస్. వెళ్ళిపోతున్నాడు. ఒరే నాకు ఈ జంప్ గురించి తెలియదురా. ఓకే స్టీరింగ్ వీల్ ఉందన్న సంగతి మర్చిపోయాను నేను, కానీ అంతైనా సరే కంట్రోలర్లో ఆడేది ఫన్.
కంట్రోలర్లో ఆడేది ఫన్.
Nesto Byte said Forza Horizon adald hunan epudikani open world game ani matram telusa smiling face with open mouth and cold sweat.
స్టోరీస్ ఉంటాయి, రేసెస్ ఉంటాయి, మల్టీప్లేయర్.
Karthik Sripata 9709 said stories untie races untie multiplayer.
వాట్ ఇస్ ఇట్ గైస్, వెల్కమ్ బ్యాక్ టు జీడీ ఆన్లైన్ ఎంసీ బిజినెస్ గైడ్. సో ఇంతకుముందు అయితే చేసా ఫ్యూ ఇయర్స్ బ్యాక్, దీని మీద గైడ్ ఇలాంటివి అయితే ఉంటాయి. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఇక్కడ చూడండి, దీనికి 2 ways ఉన్నాయి. ఎందుకంటే ప్రొడక్షన్ ఒకసారి పెట్టేసిన తర్వాత. వాట్ ఇస్ ఇట్ గైస్, వెల్కమ్ బ్యాక్ టు జీడీ ఆన్లైన్. ఈ రోజు ఇంకా అఫీషియల్గా బ్రోక్ అయిపోతున్నాను, ఎందుకంటే ఇంకో మ్యాచ్ని కూడా కొనిపోతున్నాను. అండ్ ఇదైతే ఆన్లైన్లో ఫ్రాంక్లిన్ హౌస్ అనమాట. ఇంతకుముందు ఇప్పుడు రాలేదు నేను, సో ఫర్ ద ఫస్ట్ టైం. ఈ బోర్డు లేదు కదబ్బా స్టోరీ మోడ్లో. వావ్
బోర్డు పెట్టారన్నా.
టూ వే పాయింట్. అవునవును చాలా దూరం.
సింక్ ఉందాడా.
బాగుంది కేసు దీని పని.
నైస్ నైస్ నైస్. అన్ని టైప్స్ ఆఫ్ గేమ్స్ ఆడుతున్నాడు కదా బ్రో. క్రికెట్,
జాతగిర్రై
బ్రోది సెటప్ వీడియో చేశారా?
సెటప్ టూర్. ఐ డోంట్ లైక్ ఇట్, ఐ అవాయిడ్, బట్ యూ గైస్ ఆస్కింగ్, సో ఐ కాంట్ అవాయిడ్. ఏడ్చినట్టు ఉంది.
ఏమి ఏడిసినట్టుంది బ్రో, గుర్తవాలంది
అన్నమాట. చాలా అంటే చాలా ఎక్స్పెన్సివ్ పడింది.
ఏమన్నా ఉందా?
అండ్ ఈ కేస్ నేమ్ వచ్చేసి
4090 బిల్డ్. ఓకే
ROG Hyperion GR701. అదొకటి గుర్తుంది నాకు, సో అందుకే అది ఒకటి చెప్తాను. 4090 బిల్డ్. మిగతావన్నీ మీకైతే
Nesto Byte said Rich GA untati bro setup. Rondu PC LUPS 5 unte.
అదే చూస్తున్నా.
చెప్తే మనకి చాలా టైం అయిపోతుంది. అండ్ ఈ పీసీకి నేను పెట్టిన నేమ్ వచ్చేసి గెలాక్టస్.
Karthik Sripata 9709 said NI setup tour Cavalry.
నా సెటప్ ఏముంది బ్రో నాది అసలు.
నెక్స్ట్ టైం ఏమైనా 5090 అలా బిల్ చేస్తే మాత్రం
బేసిక్ సెటప్ అంతే.
డాక్టర్ డూమ్ అది గ్రీన్ థీమ్ లో ఉంటుంది అన్నమాట. చూసారు కదా, ఇది అయితే పర్పుల్. ఇంకా మన మానిటర్స్, సో
డ్యూయల్ మానిటర్ బ్రో.
ఇది వచ్చేసి 2K 165 Hz. ఇది
2K 165 Hz. వామ్మో.
సెకండ్ మానిటర్ ఇది 2K 144 Hz అన్నమాట.
రెండు 2Kనే.
సెకండ్ మానిటర్ 1080 పెట్టుకోవచ్చు కదా, 2K అవసరమా అని. నాకు అవసరం గైస్, నాకు కావాలి. ఎందుకు
Yes.
నాకైతే 2K రెజల్యూషన్ బాగా ఇష్టము. సో
Bro rich
1080p అయితే
కాబట్టి
మరీ లో అనిపిస్తుంది,
doesn't
4K
matter.
మరీ ఎక్కువ అనిపిస్తుంది. 2K నాకు ఎందుకో బ్యాలెన్స్గా అనిపిస్తుంది అన్నమాట. సో అందుకే ఇంత పీసీ ఉన్నప్పటికీ కూడా నేనైతే 2K మానిటర్స్ మాత్రం మెయింటైన్ చేస్తాను. నాకు పర్సనల్గా ఇష్టం
Nestobite
2K.
said Na Dagara single monitor Qtalevu, TV key connect just a PC Ni.
సేమ్ సిచ్యుయేషన్. అంటే నేను కూడా ముందు ల్యాప్టాప్లో ఆడేవాడిని బ్రో. ల్యాప్టాప్
నెక్స్ట్ ఇక్కడ చూసుకుంటే మా బాస్ గణేష్. ఆ తర్వాత ఇక్కడ మనకి PS5 కంట్రోలర్స్. ఏదో సెటప్ టూర్ చేస్తున్నాం కదా అని చెప్పి తీసేదో బయట పెట్టినవి కాదు ఇది.
3 కంట్రోలర్స్.
అంటే ఈ రెండు ఎప్పుడు బయట ఉంటాయి, ఇది మాత్రం తీసేదో బయట పెట్టా. ఎందుకంటే 3.0లో ఒక వీడియో చేశాను, మీరు చూసారు కదా. సో గేమింగ్ డిస్క్ సంబంధించి దాంట్లో చివరిలో మీకు
వామ్మో, ఇన్ని గేమ్స్ కొన్నాడా?
స్పైడర్మ్యాన్ 2 జస్ట్ అలా బాక్స్ చూపించేసాను బయట తీయకుండానే. సో అందుకే అప్పుడైతే అడిగారు కొంతమంది బయటకు కూడా తీసి చూపించారు. సో అందుకే ఇదైతే తీసి బయట పెట్టా అంతే. ఇది 30th యానివర్సరీ స్పెషల్ ఎడిషన్ కంట్రోలర్. ఇది స్పైడర్మ్యాన్ 2ది, ఇది ఆస్ట్రోబాట్ది. ఎందుకంటే నాకు ఎందుకు ఇష్టము ఇలాంటివి గేమింగ్కి సంబంధించి కలెక్ట్ చేసుకోవడము. అలాగని చెప్పేసి బాక్స్లో పెట్టి పూజ చేస్తున్నాను. చూసారు కదా, ఈ రెండు వాడుతున్నాను. ఈ రెండిట్లో ఏమైనా పోతే ఇది తీస్తా అప్పుడు బయటికి. ఏదో ఇప్పుడు అంటే మనకి సెటప్ టూర్ చేస్తాం కాబట్టి తీసేది బయట పెట్టాను అంతే. నెక్స్ట్ నా అల్ట్రా హై క్వాలిటీ 8K 144 FPS ఫేస్ క్యామ్ గైస్. OnePlus 60.
Nestobite said nay subs periginica of Qta Kala games contof bro.
నీ సబ్స్ పెరిగినాక నువ్వు కూడా చాలా గేమ్స్ కొట్టావు. లేదు బ్రో, ఫిట్ గర్ల్ బ్రో. నేను
దీంతో
ఫిట్ గర్ల్ బ్యాచ్ బ్రో మొత్తం.
అవుతుంది. ఇది పోయే వరకు దీన్నే వాడతా. సెటప్ టూర్ వాడుతున్నాను. ఈ రెండిట్లో ఏమైనా ఉంటుంది ఇలాగా అటాచ్ కూడా చేసుకోవచ్చు అనమాట. సో ఆ ప్లేకి కీబోర్డ్ ఉంటుంది, మౌస్ కూడా ఉంటుంది. సో ఎప్పుడైనా నాకైతే హాల్లో ఉండి వర్క్ రాకుండా కలెక్ట్ చేసినాం. దీనికి సంబంధించిన వీడియో అయితే 3.0 ఉంటుంది. కాకపోతే ఆ వీడియోలో ఆడియో క్వాలిటీ అంత బాగోదు గేసినది, ఎందుకంటే మైక్ హ్యాండ్ ఇచ్చిందన్నమాట. సో ఆ ఒక్క వీడియోకి మాత్రం అడ్జస్ట్ అయిపోండి. ఇవి వచ్చేసి కంట్రోలర్స్ చెప్పాను కదా, ఇది మాత్రం బాక్స్లో ఉండి తీసుకొచ్చి అక్కడ టేబుల్ మీద పెట్టాను. మిగతా రెండు మాత్రం ఎప్పుడు టేబుల్ మీద ఉంటాయి. నెక్స్ట్ వచ్చేసి ఇక్కడైతే మనకి ప్లే స్టేషన్కి సంబంధించిన గేమింగ్ డిస్క్స్ కలెక్షన్ అన్నమాట. సో ఇది కూడా నేనైతే 3.0లో వీడియో చేశాను చూడండి. కొన్ని అయితే ఇక్కడ లేవు, హాల్లో మనకి పెట్టుకున్నాను ఎందుకంటే ప్లే స్టేషన్ కూడా అక్కడ ఉంది టీవీ కనెక్ట్ చేసి. ఇది ఫంకో పాప్ గైస్ 25th యానివర్సరీ లిమిటెడ్ ఎడిషన్ అన్నమాట. 2080 సూపర్ రీసెంట్గానే పోయింది, పోతే దాంట్లో ఇచ్చేయండి. అండ్ కింద ఇంకేముండవు, ఇదైతే గ్రాఫిక్ కార్డు.
అట్లా ఓపెన్ గా పెట్టినాడు ఏంది బ్రో?
2080 సూపర్ రీసెంట్గానే పోయింది, పోతే దాంట్లో 4060తో రీప్లేస్ చేశాను అనమాట. సో దాన్ని మళ్ళీ తీసుకొచ్చి ఇక్కడ పెట్టేసా. సో అప్పుడప్పుడు ఇక్కడైతే పెడుతున్నాను. ఓకే, మెయిన్ వన్ చెప్పడం అయితే మర్చిపోయాను. మన కలెక్షన్ అన్నమాట, అంటే మన ప్లే బటన్ కలెక్షన్. ప్రజెంట్ అయితే మనకి మెయిన్ సెకండ్ ఛానల్ కూడా ఇంకో 2 ఛానల్ ఉన్నాయి. దాంట్లో ఏదో ఒక ఛానల్కి 2025లో కొట్టేద్దాం గీసి.
మాకు నమ్మకం లేదు.
నెక్స్ట్ ఇంక ఈ టేబుల్ దగ్గర చూడడానికి అయితే అంతకేముండవు. అది స్పైడర్మ్యాన్ది స్పెషల్ ఎడిషన్ కలర్తో పాటు వచ్చినట్టున్నాయి స్టిక్కర్స్, చూసారు కదా, అంటించేసా. నాకు ఇష్టం అబ్బా స్పైడర్మ్యాన్ చిన్నప్పటి నుంచి కూడా. జైట్ అవుతుంది మాకు వేరే. కీబోర్డు మౌస్ ఇవన్నీ కూడా మీకు అయితే డిస్క్రిప్షన్లో ఉంటాయి. అండ్ మొబైల్ స్టాండ్. సో అక్కడ పెట్టి నేనైతే ఫేస్ క్యామ్ రికార్డ్ చేస్తాను. ఇది మైక్. సో లాస్ట్ టైం సెటప్ టూర్లో చూపించాను కదా, సో అదే ఈ మైక్ వచ్చేసి స్టిల్ ఇంకా పనిచేస్తుంది, బాగుంది. ఇది కూడా అంతే, పోయే వరకు వాడతా. ఇలా సింపుల్గా అయితే ఓపెన్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. అండ్ ఈ డోర్ని ఇలా పైకి లేపేస్తే వచ్చేస్తుంది. సో అదొక మంచి ఫీచర్, ఎందుకంటే ప్రతిసారి స్క్రూ చెప్పాలంటే కాస్త కష్టమే. ఈ రూమ్లో అయితే ఇంకంతే, చూపించడానికి ఏముండదు. చూసారు. ఇప్పుడు వెళ్దాం నా సెకండ్ సెటప్ దగ్గరికి. నాకైతే హాల్లో ఉండి టీవీ చూస్తూ లేకపోతే ఏమైనా పెట్టుకుని వింటూ అలా వర్క్ చేయడం ఇష్టం. సో అందుకే సో మనకి అక్కడ మెయిన్ మానిటర్లో ఏదైతే ఉంటుందో అది ఇంక మిర్రర్ అన్నమాట ఇక్కడ. సో కీబోర్డు అండ్ ఆ మౌస్ అండ్ స్పీకర్స్ అయితే ఇదే. ఇవి కూడా మనకైతే రెడ్ డ్రాగనే పెట్టుకున్నాను. 3-4 ఇయర్స్ అయిపోతుంది అన్నమాట. వాడుతున్నాను అప్పుడప్పుడు, దాన్ని కూడా వాడుతున్నాను. సో మెయిన్ అయితే చేస్తాను అనమాట, టీవీలో ఏదో పెట్టుకుని. ప్రజెంట్ అయితే ప్రస్తుతానికి ఇంటర్వ్యూ చూస్తాను. అలా ఏదో ఒక వీడియో పెట్టుకుని వింటున్నాను, లేకపోతే అప్పుడప్పుడు చూస్తాను, వర్క్ అయితే చేస్తుంటాను. అది ఏదో ఒక
Karthik's Ripid 9709 said Broki antaa money una sentiment kozam 2018 low release aina 1 + 6 tons ne vedutunitu camera.
ఏదో ఒక రీజన్ ఉండి ఉంటుంది. షూస్ కలెక్షన్ కూడా ఉంది బ్రోతో. LS2 హెల్మెట్ బ్రో, బైక్ ఏది ఉంటుంది బ్రో.
వింటునో లేకపోతే అప్పుడప్పుడు చూస్తానో వర్క్ అయితే చేస్తూ ఉంటాను. అది రిలాక్స్గా ఉంటుంది. అక్కడ ఉంటే పిచ్చి ఎక్కిపోద్ది అబ్బా నాకు. అండ్ ఇంకా PS5 మనదైతే ఇక్కడ ఉంది అబ్బా. ఎస్
గోప్రో కూడా ఉంది.
ఎందుకంటే ఈ టీవీకి కరెక్ట్గా ఉంది. ఎస్ సో ఎప్పుడైనా మళ్ళీ దీంతో వీడియోస్ రికార్డ్ చేయాలనుకుంటే మాత్రం ఇక్కడ నుంచి అక్కడ తీసుకెళ్ళిపోతాను. ఇంకా టీవీ విషయానికి వచ్చేస్తే మాత్రం LG QNED 65 ఇంచ్ గైస్. ఇది వచ్చేసి 120 Hz చాలా బాగుంది. సో అందుకే ఈ PS5 అయితే ఇక్కడ వదిలేసాను. చెప్పాను కదా రికార్డింగ్ టైంలో మాత్రం తీసుకెళ్ళిపోతా అక్కడికి. ఇంకా రూమ్కి పక్కన ఉంటుంది ఈ పెద్ద స్పీకర్ రీకనెక్ట్. ఇది కూడా కొనుక్కుని చాలా ఇయర్స్ అయితే అయింది. ఇంకేం లేవు. ప్లీజ్ ఆల్రెడీ సెట్ టేబుల్ అయితే వచ్చేసి హైట్ అయితే అడ్జస్ట్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. ప్రజెంట్ అయితే ఒక ప్రీసెట్ ఆల్రెడీ సెట్ చేసి ఉంది. 30-35 kgs ఉంటుంది. సో ఇది ఒక మీకు సబ్స్క్రైబ్ చేసుకోండి అబ్బాయి ఇంకేమైనా చేసుకోకపోతే. ఓకే సో ఐ సీ యూ ఇన్ ద నెక్స్ట్ వన్.
ఏముందిలే ఇంకా పడుకో.
నైస్ స్టార్ట్ అయిందా?
ఇంకా
స్టార్ట్ కాలేదా? What the fuck?
No.
That's fucked. That is actually fucked. No.
You know they don't.
Just get on the fucking server.
They don't have an SSD for him because he subbed himself in.
Dude, but we have internet. Just get on.
Karthik's Rupita 9709 said 64 mins antaa GA.
కాదు అది ఊకే అట్లా చూపిస్తుంది బట్ స్టార్ట్ చేసేస్తారు.
Reach your impossible with the AI-powered Legion Pro 7i.
ఇందాక డీలక్స్ ఎడిషన్ అన్నాడు బ్రో అదే ఇది.
DC.
గాడ్ ఆఫ్ వార్ డీలక్స్ ఎడిషన్ అన్నాడుగా. ఇదే డీలక్స్ ఎడిషన్. మనం ఇక్కడ నుంచి డౌన్లోడ్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. వన్ మోర్ నైట్ అంట.
Business class being first class. Bro had full bed.
Bro has 7 wives
Tomb Raider
in his hotel room tonight. Like bro does not give a fuck.
NFS heat
We were starting.
Nestobite said fast-paced battle royale games Aotatheva Pro Apex Legends Laga.
Blood's gonna try to seat swap.
Present అయితే ఆడట్లే బ్రో.
Bro did not turn action queuing on for sure.
I'm in love with PUBG right now.
FPP that game besides ADSing? No, I did not. H1 didn't even know we were in TPP that game.
I tried to vault when I went into FPP.
H1 the type of guy that every time you go to FPP it makes me nervous. H1 because I think you're gonna forget.
ఎవరైనా ఈ గేమ్ అన్నారా Sekiro?
Oh, I shot a nuke with the Panzer and almost hit 17. I went
Take your mask off, man.
Nice. I'm just holding it up to my mouth while we're pre-game.
Yeah, that doesn't.
Did you hear my comm? I went nuking him.
Nestobite said Apex Legends Kala Tough Undi. Nanadi Thata Kolka Farlight 84 Adadudana.
Somehow I'd have been full.
Farlight 84.
My teammate Panzer me last.
అదేం గేమ్ బ్రో ఫస్ట్ టైం వింటున్నా.
I would have laughed.
Wait, so what happens by the way? Like, I don't die when I get panzered now? Unless they hit me direct?
Yeah, they
unless
hit
they hit
like
you direct, it probably won't kill you.
He wrecked.
Or yeah, if they hit you direct,
100%. స్టార్ట్ అయింది గేమ్.
ప్రతిరోజు జరిగే లక్కీ డ్రాలో One's plenty.
Nestobite said Sekiro and Eda Bro. Souls game caught hot Iadadaniki Rola Saraga beginning loan Kalasarlo kill Iapoi uninstall Chisa.
చాలా టఫ్ ఉంటుంది ఆ గేమ్ అది కానీ ఫ్యాన్స్ చాలా మంది ఉన్నారు బ్రో. ఇది మొబైల్ గేమ్ ఇది. Farlight 84.
One's plenty.
పీసీలో కూడా ఉందా? ఉందిగా పీసీలో.
Nestobite said mobile undi PC Cuda undi.
Okay. బ్రో సేమ్ Apex Legends లాగే ఉంది కదా బ్రో. అంటే కొన్ని ఇట్లా లూటింగ్ ఇదన్నీ గన్స్ అవన్నీ నాకు ఐడియా లేదనుకో.
Nestobite said game code copy chasi paste chisaru inatu undidi.
గేమ్ కోడ్ కాపీ ఉన్నట్టు ఉంటుంది. అదే అట్లే ఉంది సేమ్ లూటింగ్ అంతా సేమ్ ఉంది. ఈ ఫైరింగ్ కూడా. గేమ్ చూద్దాం నేను డౌన్లోడ్ చేస్తున్నా అందుకే క్లారిటీ వస్తుంది.
going all the way up to Yaz now, so they're going to go for this backup drop of the Primos. Fury is also here. The circle actually favors this position as a whole in a second. There you go. It looks like Kraken's going to be down on the ground waiting for 4 a.m. to lurk around.
Lurking. All right, so South Circle right out of the gate. Freaks again in a great position as they're going to be able to loot the entire military base essentially uncontested with very little trouble. 4 a.m. though having to face up here against Furia, but not a fair fight. Furia already sort of has the lion's share of town. They're pushed into a pretty good spot here in Primorsk, and I think 4 a.m. is going to have to just sort of loop backwards and get out. The only upside for them as they're closer to the circle in case they do want to truly be troublesome.
Part-time streamer Aledha full-time bro.
Present full-time bro.
The easiest thing to take here, completely unscathed, is a 4v4 in a urban ending.
Next month nunchi teliyadu naku.
Mode, because you're going to be very susceptible to the potential of extreme dives around corners with shotguns and an insta knock in these kind of situations. So got to be very careful. Slow and steady will win this race here, but with a circle like this,
Karthik's Rupita 9709 said Nico Kala Hatreduna Team Enti.
Extreme shift towards military or something like that.
Chala hatreduna Team
He is kind of caught
Nesto
in this
Byte
position
said
here with the
month Iapoda
expendables. He knows where
DGA
they
Pro
are.
10
Doesn't seem to want to get
DAYS
out of that
low.
position and out of dodge.
Na hatred team
Delwyn.
Atlem ledu bro.
Delwyn's in a bit of a sandwich here. Orca's got the smokes around the outside. I don't think he has a flash, or they would have gone in there, or he would have maybe pushed that. He's playing really brave for a man with no gear.
I think Duck Juice was looking for the off angle, but here comes reinforcements as well from Bean to try and help out this situation. So maybe the off angle of an eventual Duck Juice movement could be exploited by Bean, but it's just a matter of time here. I think Orca realizes that the potential of the off angle was coming, so he's made a move on that right hand side of the warehouse. More reinforcements for the Expendables. They do not want to be losing a man. Oh, hey, whoa.
He's got a nice little angle, looks to the right side. Shots from the high ground as Tozy tries to defend the rest of the Expendables crash. And it is now about to be a full-on team fight as Delwyn's got the M16. He's only got 24 bullets to
Rupita
make it work.
9709 said like Ipudu IPL low RCB key
Delwyn does make it work as he
and
gets that knock
TFI
on
low
Bean.
MB fans
Tanbu goes
and
ahead and
PK
gets the
fans
grenade
key
on Tozy. And just like that, Genji is put on the
Rivalry
back heels.
atlundadu bro.
Orca
PUBG la
almost
atlundadu.
no protection
9709 said rivalry.
and a scar. Gonna try to hold his
PUBG la assalu undadu bro.
Yeah,
ఇప్పుడు కరెక్ట్ ఓన్లీ 2 టీమ్స్ కంటూ ఉండదు కదా మొత్తం అన్ని టీమ్స్ థర్డ్ పార్టీ చేస్తాయి.
They had Duck Jews and Clories on much better control points for this kind of compound to the point where Genji was not only a bit stuck in that warehouse, but then also scrambling for the reinforcement, whereas for T, as much as yes they did flip the buggy, they had far more boots on the ground, far quicker, far better angles.
అట్లా అంత గట్టి రైవల్రీ పబ్జీలో ఇప్పటి వరకు ఏ దానికి రాలే అంత అంటే అంత కాంపిటీషన్. ఇప్పుడు పబ్జీ టాప్ 2 టీమ్స్ ఉంటే రైవల్రీ ఉంటది. దీంట్లో టాప్ 2 ఎప్పుడు కన్సిస్టెంట్ గా ఎప్పుడు ఉండరు అట్లా.
They throw the grenade first to slow him down, followed by the flash, and here's the first peek. They know where he is. He turns and hightails it out of town, but it only takes 3 grenades to get him down.
As Flame is just still stuck on the edge, and he's gone as well. That's Genji.
ఇప్పుడు నాకు దీంట్లో ఎన్ని ఫేవరెట్ టీమ్స్ ఉన్నాయి తెలుసా? ఫస్ట్ ఫాల్కన్స్ అన్న కదా, ఫస్ట్ ఫేవరెట్ ఇది. తర్వాత డిఎన్ఎఫ్, తర్వాత ట్విస్, తర్వాత ఏఎల్, టీఈ, నావి. అంతే అన్ని ఉన్నాయి నాకు. 5 to 6 ఫేవరెట్స్ ఉన్నాయి దీంట్లో 16 లో.
All right, Bagel and the rest of the lobby making a massive shift down towards that south side. So far, only 3 teams have made the cross to military, while everyone else is just smushed up against that center line. It is actually wild how many teams have returned to the south shore of the main island and are trying to figure out how do we cross this right now, because bridge camps are oh so functional in this lobby at the moment.
Yeah, all the Korean teams just trying to position themselves alongside these bridges as well. But Park Pro knows exactly where Human's moving, along with Pio, who does knock him
Karthik's
out.
Rupita 9709 said DNF NT Bro did no finishing.
Getting much more from this, and also he's in such vicinity to them.
కాదు bro, DNF అంటే టీమ్ పేరు.
Against DN Freaks, so it's a little bit harder for them to really get things going. Seongchang's getting a
కొరియన్ టీమ్ అది, దానికి ఏదో ఉంటది, DN అంటే ఏదో ఉంటది. Korean
There's gonna
lo
be a lot
something.
of runaways here, especially when you talk about this high ground right now that DNF is sitting on. There's no point in sort of trying to push up there. They've got a lot of cover, and they are just going to turn around and drive back away. Bagopod says, no, not today. The problem is there's a lot of trouble on the other side of the bridge.
Oh, yes, there is. 17 Gaming here, trying to hold the off angle, and that is going to be a lot of damage going his way, but they don't quite get a knock just yet. There surely should be a knock. Little Ghost was a menace in the previous game. You got to hit those shots, though. Still Begapod trying to run on past. PO does go down already. Pro's down as well. It's a disaster for Begapod.
Yeah, they had to stop after that first spray, so they do hit the back of the gas station, but it's not an easy place to push from. Little Ghost doing a great job of fighting this solo. Gets another knock there with the range help from OO, and they are going to make this play. BGP now down to almost no players
Chinese
left.
teams కి ఎక్కువ support
Akan just drives
ఇప్పుడు
off.
దీంట్లో
He thought about
17
stopping.
ఉంది.
The team said just don't do it, and now he has spent the last 2 minutes trying to find somewhere to just park the car. It feels like me Christmas shopping.
Is Little Ghost just a gamer here? He's gaming right now in these first 2 games for 17. Very nicely done by the squad for this hold. At the same time, though, if for a circle like this, they don't want to be the ones also then sandwiched eventually by other teams that might want to move in upon this position. PO's completely gone now, so this is more kill points for 17. Move on to 3. And Tiggleton finds Wicked. What are they going to do without their IGL?
You know, probably exactly the same as the last game. It does feel like the calls are not super crisp. We joked at the start, maybe they're going to be giving each other, like, SEAL Team 6 hand signals while they play, because I do think that there is that challenge of the need to communicate on the fly, especially with shifts like this to the south. It's not going to be easy to sort of make those moves. So this is a fascinating super team while they play, because I do think that there is that challenge of the need to communicate on the fly, especially with shifts like this to the south. It's not going to be easy to sort of make those moves. So this is a fascinating super team.
PvP legend, this game not meant for FPV and
I completely agree. I'm thinking to myself, the call's coming from inside the house. Like, they might actually sabotage each other a little bit in some of the comms. Who knows? Like, we don't know. I'd love to kind of get some kind of inside perspective on that. But anyway, that's regardless. There's JDG here and is watching 4 a.m. or just mosey on past them. There will be no knocking here, it looks like. An attempt at a spray, but that's a hard angle to really hit all the bullets on as he runs away.
Love this little compound for 4 a.m. I do think that what we're seeing here is 17 in particular is doing it, that we're going to see a insane amount of camps, particularly for large crosses to military. I think military has traditionally been a tough place to get to. I think it's a whole load harder here at this event. It's the not just perspective related. I think this is also related to the fact that you get $100 per kill. And there is now a very strong impetus to saying, man, if I cross that bridge, I may not make it into the late game. But if I sit here, I might make $500.
Does make me think if DM Freaks had 4 up, like how much of a success would this game be to them, right? Like if they're currently the ones really truly on that bridge camp potential right now alongside 17, but again, even they're 3 men alive. I guess for someone like E-Arena or Twisted Minds, 2 teams that are kind of prioritizing that western bridge as opposed to all the other teams that are kind of angling for the eastern bridge. I wonder if it kind of works out in their favor if they can.
Have I wanted a frozen Erangel so much in my life? Because, like, even on the other side, E-Arena is on the king of all camps for the East Bridge. And Twisted Minds is like, well, we don't know how to cross that either. Oof. It is a very tough thing to do. And now, James, no one has to cross.
Yeah. Unless we have an insane shift.
Surely
yes,
we won't.
Surely. Should be the north. So this will allow Twisted Minds. They've already got an E-pickup going and ready to go if they want to actually try and hit some middle position. And there are quite a few 2-2 splits and things of the like there. So they could do that. Or they could just opt to drive because there's also going to be decent entry points for them as well, which is looking like that's what they're going to be doing. Poser, though, still stuck a little bit here against Petrichor Road. Got to be very careful. That's a great start here against Ming Ming. One of the big heavy hitters here from Petrichor Road as he does go down. And also, I-26V6 has been taken out by Type, so unfortunately, Petrichor's bleeding out.
Bagopod, Akon, remember the last man standing from the escape at the bridge. He's gone up to the Harry Potter Tower and is actually putting 4Ams back against the wall. This is a great grenade. It doesn't get inside. That actually was cooked perfectly if he had gotten the bounce right. But he's going to buy a little bit of space. Call in. That's a very dangerous emergency cover, for the record.
Blinded at the moment. Here is Shen, but he knows exactly where he is. He hits some of those shots through the top side of that smoke. That's crazy stuff, because you just get a little whiff of exactly where his head was because of the angle he's looking down on that smoke with. So not bad by Shen at all. Doesn't quite get the full confirm on it, though. Flashed again, delaying him a little bit. It's going to put Shen on edge here for a moment, but there's not too much of a threat moving just yet. It allowed Akan to reposition. That's the big thing.
I find it fascinating that he's not getting any help from his teammates. They've said this is a 2-2 split, and you are on it. You're on your own, buddy. There's been no reaction. In fact, Akon is going to just go ahead and move to another position here. But I think if he had known that 4AM wasn't getting any backup, he might have been a little more aggressive there. Though he's out of utility, not a lot of options left, so survival is everything at this point. Hakatori, we take a look at him. This has been an absolute player. He's going to go to the high ground off the back of the car. A man who knows how to get damage. Whether or not his team is winning a tournament is irrelevant to Hakatori. This is a guy who, even if they lose in 15th place, could still make an insane amount of money off of this format.
Yes, he could. Nice cheeky little bullet drop there to be able to pop some of those tires. He knows people are over there. There's no reason the vehicles would be there otherwise. Kizera does go for a res. So they have all four back alive, technically, with only one having gone down. Poser, though, has got to be very careful. The T1 is moving in on his territory pretty rapidly. So that will be a total bail here from Poser. Smart moves. Mature.
Very smart. Very smart. I do like you. Earlier, we were like, well, Poser's stuck here with 4AM, but he was like, I think you're stuck here with me.
Yeah.
Pose's aggression and willingness to take those fights has been pretty good. I do think Furia is one of those teams that has been strongish in the Americas region. I think they've been sort of figuring out where they fit into things. They were a little bit out of sorts at PGC. I think as we move into the next year, though, they have a very good mental place where they're looking to get stronger and better. So I think next year is one of those years that I'm tuned into to Furia to see how much they grow.
And they had a great start to the Masters, right, at the start of the year. They won out some of the Masters, which was impressive over in that region as a whole. So they definitely know what they're doing here for PPMI, as now Salute is also trying to show us he knows what he's doing, and getting a few shots off on show. The good old owner of 17 back on the field again, filling on in. We should be going north here, we assume.
We do. We do.
Maybe.
There it is.
It's just no way
but I don't buy it. I will say this. The Freaks were in the best position in this game until a couple of minutes ago. And now they are in quantifiably the worst possible position, having to come back across that bridge with more than two teams waiting for them to do so. Meanwhile, Cold 119 is going to go pre-fire a little bit. The double barrel coming around, but that's how you trick a double. He goes ahead of Molly, so he knows he can't get flanked out the window. Cold 119 trying to figure out how do you fight a man in a maze.
Yeah, I can. Jumping on out, getting off the little ledge there as well. Very well done by him. He still survives. That said, though, Shen was watching some of that. If he'd have been quicker on it, he would have taken him down. But Na'Vi finishes off Petrichor Road. They are gone. Only 2 points so far in 13th place here for Petrichor.
I am very impressed with the slippery nature of Akon. That has been his ability to get out of 3 different fights. Okay, I take it all back. Well, he was slippery for a while, but the grease doesn't last forever. And Lou is going to go ahead and pick him off from a distance.
Yeah, tough stuff for them. Having the casualties as early as they did, and it being so congested in this area, it was always going to be difficult for him. But you're right, he did survive for a little bit longer than I was expecting as well. Shen now charging up an aid, knows Gold's up there somewhere, but didn't post it through the... I was about to say letterbox. Didn't post it through the window. So won't be able to get that knock just yet. Still, all of these Chinese teams just kind of stuck against one another on this western side, trying to get on in. But these shifts have not been kind to them, starting on the west.
Absolutely not. I am enjoying the amount of bolties that we've been seeing in this event so far. Long Z hits a nice drive-by there on Suze as he gets knocked out and drilled down. JDG having a bit of a hard time so far getting things going in this match. As again, we see another go down. Spaceman drilled from a distance. DNF just farming cash.
Dragunov doing a lot. He only has 20 shots left with that, though, so he wants to be a bit careful about how he's using that. December 12th watching as DNF's going to try and drive on past. Good old spray. Gets a little 20 damage on him, but not enough to continue that on. Didn't realize he was stopping, though, and he does go down to the blue. He was so low. He didn't realize he was going to be so low, but regardless, that should be an easy confirm here for December the 12th, unless Deal has something to say about it. Shots coming in from the off angle. Can he do more with it? Again, only 14 bullets left in this Dragunov.
Perfect range. Perfect range for it. Taps off 3. He's looking for those peak shots. This is a tough one. Good usage by December 12th. He's smoking down and saying, I just want out of this. I don't want to be involved.
No, only 3 shots left. That means Dio's going to try and close the gap a little bit, use some of his utility to flush this guy out. December the 12th causing so many problems, really delaying this. Heaven goes for the off position as well. Does spray him down after the reinforcement came back. Heaven was looking for other things on Sosnovka Military Island, which is why he was so disconnected from that fight for a long time. But the reinforcements come in just at the right time.
I love that we're using bolts for flushes nowadays. This is an evolution I am behind. Furia looks like they're going to have to face off with T1. Gizera goes through the blue to try to find an outside position here. You can see that grenade already getting prepped up. Meanwhile, elsewhere, JDG is eliminated. T1 on the other side of this berm. It's a berm fight as EN starts to cook. Gizera goes into the ditch, trying to find an angle from here. Goes in and gets those painkillers maxed out. Good choice right now. The problem here is neither of these two teams want to kick off the chaos because they know that E-Arena is not far away and would love to get involved. So T1 decides that sometimes it's better to be careful.
And of course, why Heaven was down was raising Guman. So Guman's back up, kind of scouting around in the middle of the circle. FW has got an incredibly central spot for this. The only problem I do foresee for them is an eventual potential collapse from a lot of these teams that will try and come in on the middle down the line once their positions have been pushed out of a circle like this. But for Furia, they're still on this northwest side. Do know that T1 is ahead of them. They've been trading a little bit of blows back and forth. Gizera using this trench area to see exactly where they were moving around, but it's going to think twice about the pecan over because I think there were some shots coming in from him against E-Arena and the like, so got to be careful.
That is a very tough one to get any sort of information on terms of their next transition. They're going to have to drive out of that ditch, and there's not going to be any cover whatsoever. 4 Angry Men is eliminated as Guman reminds us that you, too, can be the ace.
It can. I think that's the PGC 2022.
I thought it was 23, but you might be right. I remember the purple. It was a good color scheme.
The Dubai one, I think, but yeah, it's...
it was Dubai.
We've got them all, Toppies. We've got them all.
We do. I still use my ranked one, though, instead. Logos.
I still use PGIS 2019.
Well, that's a good one. That was red and black, right? That was a good one.
Wait, no. No, PGC 2019. Sorry, yeah.
We Americas like PGIS 2019.
I wonder why.
No reason. Oh, good nades. One, anyway, did some damage. The other one a little bit off, but it does tell them where they are, or it tells them where they aren't, I guess is a better way to put that. As the push will come up over the top, Tanvi with the long spray. Opons does knock Heaven elsewhere as E-Arena is trying to hold out teams on the left side of the map. Duck Juice getting sprayed down. Lil Ghost turning on as he gets another knock and moves up the hill, trying to square off with Clories.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of attempts at people trying to, like, see players through grass and then lining those shots up and into first person and trying to spray through the grass and really exploiting their opportunities that way, because you can get a lot of information and then spray through what would normally be an invisible kind of angle for you. And that's exactly what we're seeing here from 17 Gaming. But that is going to be a hallmark of how these fights are going to go down. And for the Expendables, they're going to fall victim to it and run away.
Meanwhile, H-Win out there again with the M24 continuing to put work in on the Bolt. I hope that this is what we see for the entire year. I hope H-Win just becomes a Bolt action aficionado. Yeah. A Baja Waka 2.0.
Baja Waka. That's a throwback. Jeez. Right. But, I mean, you're not wrong. I don't mind some bolt action myself. I'm a bit of a bolty guy, but that's because I'm rubbish with DMRs. But here comes the mortars. What can this land on? I don't think it should connect. No, a little bit too far. Ooh, that next one, though, the tab. Got to get dancing. Got to get moving away from that. 3 shots in. Normally, that's kind of the... Wait a minute. He's got more. He's got more. Oh.
I think Taggleton spends the first half of the game just collecting mortars these days.
Piling them in cars.
A little long. So actually, that first shot, the shot that tagged Tab was actually really good news for them because he didn't go down. So Tag readjusted those sort of distances, and I think they got away with murder. If he had gotten Tab, he would have dropped 2 more in the same spot. I think he would have got it absolutely lambasted. Expendables goes out in 11. They clearly are struggling to get their heads around this format. Though with 6 kills, they're going to be $600 cheap and more to the W.
Oh, I don't think it's going to reach. I don't think it's going to reach. It's going to be really close. Example. Oh, no, it reaches. Oi. Okay, well, okay. We got delayed. It got knocked off because of the nade. So we'll take that one.
It was a dud.
I got a bit too excited.
You know, but good counter. Throw the nade. Yeah. Get it knocked off. So good play. It would have actually, I think, been too short. You were correct. But those double blue zones as well, making it a very aggressive push forward. Here comes another follow. Tiggleton gets that grenade. And it sounds like the Falcons are going to probably try to hard push off the back of that knock. Molodok hoping to defend. H-Win jumps out. Molodok on the heel. Good grenade bounce, but a little bit too deep. Second car coming in. That one has the C4, and it goes boom. Bam. Just down to example. He's on the close. He does manage to get kickstart. Looking to follow up. Good utility. But H-Win is not having it. You know he's going to call this push out.
At the same time, Himas is looking for an off angle to try and third party this. He's got a FAMAS in hand as well. He goes for one. Does find H-Win. Will he be able to get more? Just one or two more knocks will completely shut down them. They're going to actually try and move while this is going on, but Himas has bitten off a little bit more than he can chew. Has to take some cover here. The rest of Falcon says, nuh-uh, buddy. We're going to throw some util your way, as well as push for you. Should be an easy kill.
What a manly push by Shrimsy. He didn't care about the 3P. He said, I'm taking this rock. I don't think he knows about FW, though. He's got to be careful here because they didn't get a knock on him, so he can steal the car and try to get back under a cover position. Meanwhile, Soul says, there's $100 on the line. Come get some kills.
It takes down Tiggleton, and that said, though, anyone's legend is gone. The two legends
Example
on
ga ఏమన్నా బతికిద్దాం గనా కొడుకు
wrong time with one another. If this was properly coordinated between the two, I think this could have completely flubbed for Falcons, but it will be Twisted Minds that puts in the boot for Falcons.
They're really the ones that came out ahead on that one. Example was down to just Example. And what is that, Stonehenge? Carhenge over there on the left. Down to just Example, and he had to try to make a play. It was that push in by Himas that bought him the space he needed. Ultimately, he gets that last kill, and they'll be able to put some extra placement points on the board. Because in the day, still winning is winning. They have been far more focused on placement than fights, I think, in this tournament so far, James. And I'm curious to see if that pans out for them as we get deeper into this.
And we'll see 9 points on the board so far. FW still surviving up on this hillside, and where I was previously saying that maybe they could get crunched down on, I think it's difficult for these teams on the edge to finish their fights and then eventually push up there in the time that they could have tried for it. But that said, though, Reese is down. Opons, someone has him on his fantasy team somewhere, has already got himself a knock. As Banana 1, Neurons does take this fight, but T1 on the west side is starting to clean up names.
He's talking about you, Steven. And they are making some cleanups as E-Arena has been trying to hold people out. Remember, these were the difference makers early on in the T1 fight as they held the interior of the circle. I think what I'm seeing, though, is the chaos of third parties. The fact that you can come in and scout a third party without exposing yourself has made these teams about showing up to check in on a fight. Boom! He dodges it. That's the beauty of the Dorito as Jacob continues to try to hold down a spot under assault by FW.
I can also appreciate FW's onus on pushing this, though, and trying to shut down some of the threats that could potentially come their way as the arena was kind of stuck behind just a few trees here and there. That said, though, there is still an example lurking in the wings near this fight. If he decides to exert himself upon this, it could be very difficult for FW if one of their members does go down. They're still trying to deal with the rest of E-Arena as Neurons is so low. Goes for a spray. Can actually does take him down, though. One more left on E-Arena here to try and hold off.
Down to 5 teams. Everybody looking at a spot. Na'Vi hoping that they can wrap this one. F1 having a dream of winning as they do get Example eliminated. He was the solo. They also knock out 2 players of E-Arena, and they can see a possible victory in the future.
Jacob, the handsome man, what's he going to be able to get done? Not much more. Canaxi does finish him off, and that's going to be the trigger switch here for Na'Vi to hit this spot. They realized that T1 was moving on the north side. Why not move in on the south and then get this pincer maneuver here on FW to wrestle it away from them?
This is a great opportunity for Na'Vi. I mean, it'd be great. I would love to see insights maybe from Allred and the boys as to how they approach this end game, because the tall order is that T1 is sort of watching them from a distance. FW is being annihilated one by one very, very quickly, and now it's a 3v3 as Na'Vi versus T1 forms up with a hill between them. T1 with a very nice spread, though, on that side of the circle, and I think Na'Vi a little bit too far apart at the moment.
Ooh, yeah, that compound's been able to hold on strong for quite a while. Only this movement out really needing to do much here for Na'Vi. Type with 600 damage almost to his name. 4 kills going the way of him too. A bit disappointing in the finals of PGC, but here, starting to turn on alongside the rest of his team. These hillsides, if there's any more nades in hand, you've got to use them soon. Try and get an eye on someone. Cook it to perfection, which is a little bit easier here at PPMI. And see if you can hit home against Type. If you can bring him down here,
players, PUBG players, Masters.
He's going to go ahead and get that res. It looks like he extends around to a pretty safe spot in order to pick this up. and then get back to a 4 strength. Meanwhile, T1 is using that time to spread out across the north side of this circle. They are, instead of stopping the res, they've decided to use the delay to set up a defensive
TPP, you
position
can
on the
easily
high
gather
ground,
more
and I'm
info without actually
on board with
peeking
that.
out
It
and
does put you to
staying in cover.
3v4,
But the
but being
advantage
able to
goes
play
both
from
ways,
that
right?
high ground
Then
with a
it's no
burn
more an
is
advantage anymore.
incredibly powerful considering the layout of the map right here.
One match is enough for me. I can't do
for
this
T1
next
as
year. I
well. They
enjoyed
had the
this
knock
since
and they've not been able to
2019
capitalize on it.
TPP.
That
Just
means Navi's
staying
now
it
back
for a
4
lot of us.
alive. So we'll see.
Just
though.
watch the lost circle. You
It
will
looks
see
like if
those
you
who
were
are
watching
in
the
the
map as
circle
well
must
that
just
maybe
win.
Navi doesn't have that much of an advantageous position, but with Ferris
Explain to us speaker's advantage
to where
to
Hakatori
see
is,
if,
or
you know.
try and join Sussed's position and really start reinforcing those spots. As much as T1 does have kind of the strength of the middle circle spot, the numbers will count for something here.
But just to hold a 31 వాళ్ళు.
Oh, here comes T1. They're moving into a more aggressive position. I do want to really see that. You see that stack chart of all the utility a second ago? That was very, very cool. As we can see sort of what everybody had going into this thing. And I think that's what it's going to come down to. Na'Vi needs to have enough lethal and some smokes to cover that east side of the hill as they push up to the top of it. Otherwise, I just don't know how you get out of this pit.
Yeah, I think T1 realizes being stuck on that east side where they were, with just 2 on exactly the same spot, was going to be lethal city. You were just going to have nades hitting you or anything that could actually try and shut that down. That said, though, now they've spread out a little bit. They can't fully know exactly what's in the hands of Na'Vi. That's the problem that they do face at the moment. So they're still spread out. The drop-off of Heather on that far west side might be a game changer here for T1 if they can get a first knock.
I like this. Drive backwards. It's harder to kill you. Now, I think what T1 did here is they made a really good shift. They actually drove back and forth trying to find where the terrain sort of favored their perspective the most. And they put themselves in a pretty good defensible position. Now, the reason we're driving backward from Na'Vi is because of the visual changes to driving. Going backwards gives you an extra barrier of protection, but also just as much vision because of the way you can angle the camera. So I like that we're using some defensive driving to try to move up this hill as much as humanly possible. Na'Vi trying to figure out, we don't have land advantage, but we have to maximize man advantage, right? This is a chess game at the end. They have to figure out, where do we put our queen to force a sacrifice? Because if we can do that and we can get a trade and make this a 3v2 because they want to go after something that seems so obvious, I think it puts them in a chance to take the top of the hill. But that's the play right now. Na'Vi has to figure out, where do they make the sacrifice? How do they bait T1 into engaging?
And how will Ferris move from the spot that he's in? Because currently Heather knows that he's down
అసలు
there.
పీకింగ్
He was able to see
లేదు
him by
బ్రో.
crawling where he was.
పీక్ మర్చిపో.
At least he has a car available, so that is going to make things a little bit easier along with the smoke path as well. So they've already preempted the problem that could arise. Some shots go his way, but nothing connects. So that's good here to get this going. But it's nice that Ferris was down there before anyway, just to make sure there was going to be some extreme counter-wrap coming out from T1 on that west side.
I also like that they did a really good job of moving a player up to the top of that hill so that if he did decide to try to shoot at the car, they weren't going to be able to get away with it. That's the one thing we talked about with perspective, right? Sure, you can see more, but the transition to be able to maximize and put damage out still means you have to be exposed yourself. So Na'Vi doing a very good job of cutting down the ability for T1 to sort of get anything out of this information gathering. They can't peek. They haven't looked over the top of the hill once as the circle continues to close.
Because they know once a peak comes in, that gives away a lot of information here. Heather's gonna. Heather is the one that's being the sneakiest, being the kind of like the X factor here for T1, because they know as a man down, they kind of need that, and they don't know he's here. They don't know at all. They're trying to cover the angle, but yeah, the info's obscured to them.
I think this is a genius idea. This is him maximizing the format. Going to go ahead and crawl up as close as he can. Na'Vi has no idea just yet because they're not over peaking here, and he will be able to play this backstab. You can see right there he does have a visual on our anchor here for Na'Vi. This could open the door. He's going to strike there. I think that was a distraction shot.
He's
got. I noticed that he switched helmet as well. So he also, I think, FAMAS in hand. Was that really not looted? But I mean, by the by, regardless of if it was or wasn't,
I don't think it
FAMAS
was.
in hand plus the helmet switch is incredibly important. Yeah, he's got his level 3 on now. I can't believe it.
That's very, very impressive. He does manage to grab some supplies out of there and has a flank position. They're exposed. He opens up. That's what the FAMAS is great for. Heather goes wild on that opening spray. Ferris is down, and that's $100. And now a 3v3.
It's go time now as well. Goes for another spray as well. That gets traded against, though. And gotta be careful. Gotta stay back and hide as much as you can. Nades should be able to connect with this if Navi's on point with it. But at the same time, this is gonna trigger a response from Raining. Gets Hakatori. Gets
Whoa, 1v3.
That's Raining. Absolutely going ballistic here for T1.
T1 and done. The sneaky play around the outside gets the FAMAS that was unlooted. The 3x spray to open the fight, and that's all they needed. The second that knock happened on Ferris, T1 said the fairest thing we can do is push over this hill all at the same time. And that's the beauty. They knew where Na'Vi was. They knew that they triple peaked all at the same moment. Na'Vi would spend too much time trying to track them down. And now they get to lift the flag. They get to walk to the draft. They get to choose the next match.
Do they go Tego? That's my question, considering the hot drop scenarios we outlined earlier on. But what a play from them.
Smells
what
like Miramar.
Down.
There you go.
There it is.
You're right.
It is.
Well done. Well done.
Fantastic stuff coming out from them. Just being able to execute that against the man down as well. The off angle, the being able to get up to the crate and using that to fullest advantage. This is what teams like Na'Vi, they're going to have to learn, right? Threats can come from anywhere, considering that this can be a potential.
Yeah, Na'Vi was hyper-focused on the top of that hill. It was such a strategic position. I just thought, they thought to themselves, there's
డౌన్లోడ్ పెట్టేస్తా రాకెట్ లీగ్ ఈరోజు ఆడదామా రేపు ఆడదామా మేబీ టుమారో ఈరోజు చెప్తా డిస్కార్డ్లో అందరికీ రాకెట్ లీగ్ ఆడేవాళ్ళు జాయిన్ Thanks for watching. Bye bye. నిద్ర వచ్చేసింది బ్రో స్ట్రీమ్ చూసి అమ్మా